life. Some poor, some rich, and actually some of the poorest people that have faith seem to be happier than a lot of the people that have pretty much everything.
I've noticed that. I've noticed that too. I've hung around in Chicago with some very wealthy people, people that will never want for money, is in their short lives, and um, I never remember a moment when there was just good old plain happiness in any of those gatherings. Joy. There was always a terseness, and any happiness to be gained had to have been through getting a drunk or using a drug or uh, something of that nature.
Yeah, this
All the
is
all the
true.
all the intellectual discussions in our coffee shops and our artistic diatribes as we dined over coffee and cigarettes. It was never a nice, easy joy. There was always an angst in it, and so you know
Stephen.
Mr. Logan.
What happened?
I don't know. While we were watching the YouTube video, I forgot. Skylar and I had already discovered when I share my screen, it can boot from OBS. So for some reason, it stopped streaming to YouTube. I think it was still streaming to Twitch though, because we're also live on Twitch.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, that's why.
Who is that interviewer that he interviews current music stars? He wears sort of a
Nardwar.
Nardwar. That's who Logan X White's voice reminds me of. Is Nardwar.
Nardwar, the serviette.
The research, the genius at research is Nardwar. Finds out things about your voice reminds me of this.
Well, Logan is quite the accomplished little private investigator too, I must say.
Huh.
We even get updates on what you're up to, Wesley. It'll be like, Wesley was on the chats again the other day.
Yeah, I'm trying to get over depression. This schizophrenia is a beast that cannot be contended with, and so I'm constantly battling that. So I'm cleaning the apartment. There's housing inspectors are coming in on the 30th, so I've got to get this place ship shape and white glove cleaning for that day. That's pretty much what I'm doing right now.
A good spring cleaning is good for everybody.
Yeah, we're having sunshiny day after several days of rain. It's about 68 degrees, a nice breeze. It's just the right temperature right now.
I'm kind of sad that Aiden left everybody because we were having like a really great back and forth. Logan, could you try to track Aiden down?
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit ago. I asked him what happened. I went to your link and it didn't work.
Tell him to come back, or he concedes that Dustin was right about everything.
Okay.
I second the motion.
I triple that motion, and I didn't really hear much.
It was a really interesting back and forth, and I feel like Dustin kind of cornered him with the whole, the fact that our offspring are it's so much harder for them to sustain life than it is for like chimpanzees, that would actually prove like human babies are less capable than chimpanzee babies. That would be evidence for devolving.
Yeah. I told him.
It's evidence for a couple of different things.
Well, hey, you were on a roll, so open up the can if you wish.
The very idea
that he says,
like, even amongst children in school, the outcast is ostracized. They don't get mated with. They don't get attention. It even affects the teachers. I mean, if you want to get technical about it, let's look at our environment today. There's nothing that's called evolution coming out of it. It's called ostracization, and you're limiting the IQ, which anybody who would agree on any form of evolution, it would come down to the IQ point, because you're not going to have very many physical capabilities that are better from the design that we have. And the only measurement of IQ that actually stands to this day is the ability to survive.
Well, Steven, ProverbsGuy, Aiden says,
Okay, cool beans.
if evolution's true, do you think Brett Keen's the link between humans and manatees?
Manatees?
Yeah.
That would require some research.
Logan, I know you've heard the expression that Jesus don't like ugly. And that was real ugly.
Oh, sorry about that.
Aiden, we saw the corner of your head.
I didn't realize that leaving a show after the show ended and not coming back because I didn't realize it wasn't coming back on after going for a smoke was me running away. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We forgive you.
Well, we all took a vote on it, and we agreed that that was a sign of ultimate retreat, like basically Roman style, where you get down on your knees in an officer's fashion and they do the knife to the spine kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the consensus.
You went out for a cigarette and never came back, just like my dad. I'm just playing.
Oh.
I'm just playing. My dad doesn't even smoke. I don't think.
No, I'm gonna have to periodically mute and unmute myself because I'm still out here. But I came back to defend my honor. How dare you? How dare you act like I was running away? You think I'll ever run away from an argument? You don't know me if you think I'll ever run away from an argument.
It was more. It was more like. It was more like antagonizing you to come back on.
Well, it worked, so I guess I'll give you that.
All right, so I believe Aiden, it was gonna be your turn to come back. So we'll let you finish where the process was
he got
at.
Closing thoughts, and then he gets opening argument.
Oh, you know what?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
right. You're right. No, Aiden, that's correct. So it is back on Dustin. I'm sorry, Dustin. You're absolutely right.
Well, thank you.
He's a Christian, so he gets persecuted.
Yeah, Aiden, you're the atheist. You have to sit in the back of the line.
You want to give me more ammunition, Aiden? I'm game. If you want to give me more ammunition, I am game. Go ahead. Tie your own noose, stand on a chair, present yourself before your beliefs, and let's see what happens.
As the only non-Christian in this room, it's my sworn duty to persecute you, okay? It's nothing personal.
That's okay, Aiden, because we're going to convert you so hard.
Did you know I've never seen a depiction of it in the symbology of sculptures or artwork, but when Jesus was hung on the cross, all the depictions are of his hands, his palms up, and the nails going into his palms. That's not how it happened. The people that nailed him to the cross, they turned his hands down, and the nails went into the backs of his hands and into the wooden cross in that way, not into his palms. His hands were turned down, and he was hung like that. And the nails were about 13 inches long and as wide as railroad ties, is why the skin didn't rip from being nailed and his weight hung on that cross. The nails also had a area under the head of the nail where cloth was wrapped. And when that area of the cloth got into the flesh, it sopped the blood up and kept it. That's one of the methods of the crucifixion of the Romans.
You know a suspicious lot about crucifixion, Wesley. And now, if you ever invite me over for tea, I'm not gonna come over.
That's interesting, because I was, whenever I was being raised, the whole story about Jesus being crucified, changed just a little bit. You know, it always started off with him being crucified at the palm of his hand, right? But then as science moved along, or as they learned, they said, well, no, it wasn't at the palm, it was at the wrist,
There you go.
somewhere by the wrist.
It
Because
was through the hands, but his hands were turned down,
no,
and the
where do you,
nails
Wesley,
were into the backs of the
the hands
hands.
cannot support the weight like you're describing, my friend.
It can if the nail is as wide as the nails that you hammer a railroad tied to,
Hold on.
and if
Hold
the
on.
nails are about 13 inches long.
that's where I'm asking. Where did you find that? Where did you find that out at, or where's that? Where's that at?
There's nothing that runs across
Aiden,
the
hold
hand
on.
structure that would hold it like that, Wesley. You're
Hey,
relying on
Aiden,
cartilage.
hold up. Everybody, pause for just a second. Aiden, you have like a really bad amount of background noise coming through your mic. You have like the volume in the back turned up.
No, I'm just on my mobile phone right now because I'm outside with the smoke. Sorry, I was gonna say something. I didn't realize I had any background noise though. Sorry, I'll mute up.
No, that's okay. That's why I muted you earlier, but asked you to unmute because I don't know what happened though. It didn't sound like I just heard it. Anyways, you guys continue.
I was just gonna comment really quick on what's being discussed. I'm pretty sure that in the book of Acts, I'm pretty sure it's in the book of Acts, when Christ is revived and when Thomas sees him, he shows Thomas's hands, does he not, rather than his wrist?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Excellent. I really like that. Hadn't thought of that. That's putting the pieces of the puzzle together the right way.
So I would imagine that if he was nailed to his wrists, he would have showed Thomas's wrist.
It wouldn't have been palms. It wouldn't have been the
You
palms.
got it. Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you. Now,
Yeah,
now we got a point of fact.
My proof was the only proof I had was I was going to say, Jesus, in the next 5 minutes from your matrix, would you show everybody how you were hung on the cross, how you were nailed and your hands were turned down, how they thrashed you so badly that one of your eyes actually came out of its socket. And your olive skin, the skin was ripped by the whips that had lead and glass shards tied to
The scourge.
Yeah, the scourging, and show everybody that day in a vision, and we show it to everybody 3 times. Do you know what the matrix is in the Bible?
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
The matrix is the book of all history forever in the past, all history today, all history into the eternal future. And only Jesus can open that book. So I asked him to open the matrix, the history book. And you'll see a vision 3 times today that shows how his hands were turned down.
Wesley, did you take the red pill or the blue pill?
He's taking all the pills.
I gave the purple.
Taking all the pills.
I gave the purple plum to. I gave the purple plum to Noah.
No, I was gonna say though. I mean, you're talking about how Jesus is the only one who can open that book. There are things that Jesus doesn't know that the Father does, though, right? Like the hour of judgment.
That is an interesting point, and it can
I'd like to
also
chime in on that
confound
one.
you if you're not careful.
I would say
It can
Jesus
confound you.
in his human form while he was walking on earth. You wouldn't know. He probably knows now though.
Well, those that are the fathers of Jesus, those that you know how a Catholic talks to his preacher as father, you know, those who on earth who are fathers, according to Jesus's word, when the rapture begins, the hell of 7 years, it begins with a nuclear bomb in the city of Chicago. I don't know the date of that, but when that date happens, I will know what it is, and I will tell people that that is that date. But even after it begins those 7 years of hell, many people, maybe even everyone, will deny. They'll say, no, this isn't the rapture. This isn't the apocalypse. No, this isn't the scripture hell on earth that Jesus warned about and told about. This isn't going on. No, that's just a really bad thing that happened in Chicago, and a bad set of dominoes fell, and now we got to find a way to get through it. This isn't hell. Well, let me tell you, when that nuclear bomb goes off in Chicago, a clock starts ticking, and that clock lasts for 7 years. And in those 7 years, everything every man has ever made is going to be destroyed. Everything.
Can I'd just like to respond to something that Lupin said. I believe it was Lupin. I believe that you said something of the nature that the human form of Christ would know the hour of, or not, he wouldn't know the hour of judgment, but that the godly part of Christ would, correct? The divine part of him.
Yeah,
Well,
just my thought. Just my thought. I don't know if that's a fact or not. So
the day it happens, certain events are going to take place. One of those events is the fire unfolding in itself, the wheel in the wheel in the city of Chicago. Another event that shall happen on that day is there will be an amber color with a fire above his loins and a fire below his loins. And as written in Isaiah, an event will happen that somebody is carried away in a mighty captivity and put into a wilderness and turned and tossed violently like a ball. And there that person shall die. And there the shame of the shame of the, well, he's a shameful person. His life is a shame to the Lord. And Jesus will say, come up, I like him, on that day. Well, dare I boast, I believe that I'm that person that is going to be carried in the mighty captivity, turned and tossed violently like a ball in a wilderness and somewhere over the ocean. And on that day, Satan gets cast out of the sky. He won't be able to fly around invisible and whisper, don't tell the vision in your ear. He'll be on the earth in the flesh from that day for 7 years. A guy, a really smart guy, but also an only evil guy. And I believe that I'm going to be the first person to meet him. Now, seeing as all that is part of history, I am going to make it a point to, on that day, say what the date is many times. And should it be that Jesus is showing a vision of that future prophecy event and that you have seen it, whether he allows my voice to carry through and be heard saying what that date is, I do not know. He may be that when I say that date, he will blur it a little bit so that you can't hear what that date is whenever I say it, because I would certainly want it to be known. I would want to reveal it so that people could prepare. So that's
I was just gonna say what you're talking about that, like this evil, sinister character that comes about on the earth.
He and I are gonna meet face to face. I'm gonna be the first one to meet him, and he's gonna murder me. He's gonna get one shot at me, and it's gonna be with a gun, and he's gonna shoot me in the head. And then Jesus is going to say, "Come up, I like him." Now, I like him is a name, and it means God raises him. And I like him.
What language is that, Wesley?
I am going to be called after I die and go to heaven with Jesus. After I die, after I'm murdered by Satan, I go to heaven and I am given my new name in heaven. And my new name is I like him.
Well, you say it's Satan, but that sounds a lot like the Mahdi from Islam. It sounds more like the Mahdi than Satan. At least it seems to line up a little bit more with the characteristics of the one that comes back with a law to restore this heavenly global kingdom upon the earth, as far as the Islamic interpretation of what happens before.
Hey, Ayden. Why are you an atheist, bro? Like, you have a great understanding of like lots of biblical principles. Like, what's the story?
Romans 1:22.
I believe. Well, what's the story? I mean, I would definitely say that earlier in my life, I would be more of an anti-theist than an atheist. I was somebody that.
An anti-theist rather than an atheist.
Well, they are different, Wesley. They are
A
different.
colon rather than a semicolon.
Well, one has an agenda, though. That's the difference. One actually does have an agenda.
Well, you
And
know, yeah,
anti-theism.
all those agendas are going to find an abrupt halt on that day.
Well, no, I'm telling you though,
There'll
Wesley.
be
I'm telling you that there's a difference.
there'll be a mood swing on everybody. There's going to be a dreariness put on all humanity on that day.
The difference between anti-theism and atheism is that anti-theists seek to dismantle theism and theocracy and any sort of theistic way of thinking. Whereas atheism is, rather than a seeking out of the dismantling of those things, simply just a rejection of those things due to lack of evidence. Like, I definitely, it was Dustin that said it earlier. I definitely know a lot about the scripture. Of course I do. I've done an abundant amount of research into the scripture. I mean, I wanted to, but I didn't leave the scripture with a stronger belief in God. I left the scripture with a weaker understanding of how such a being could be worshipped and revered by people.
I have that same problem. Every time I read the Bible, a little bit more of my faith gets washed away. But that's because the faith that gets washed away is the useless faith, the misunderstood faith, the ideas and principles I believe my God should have. I
Amen.
understand that the God that we all should be worshiping, even under our limited understanding, constitutes idolatry. But to the bigger point, is so big that a comprehension of him would render that God insufficient.
Well, I know
So,
Jesus is God, but I am compelled by Jesus to say I fail him by not reading the Bible every day. That I'm like a square pit big enough to fit a car in my knowledge of the Bible. That I have failed Jesus not reading it every day. And I'm a square pit in the vision. And that is what I am compelled by Jesus, who I know is God, to say. I'm compelled by him to say, my faith is a branchless faith, you know, like a row of straight trees without any branches. And that I don't anonymously tie like bright green leaves on top of those trees. And that I've been walking a crooked path, like a crooked path of circle saws half in the ground. And that I've done magic, wizardry, sorcery, and witchcraft. And I've failed Jesus that way. And that's like the spinning of those circle saws in the vision that he showed to me. So that's how I am the shame of the Lord's house. And that's how that vision is the sword of righteousness. It's not saying, I'm going to make a ton of money. Hallelujah, Jesus Christ, all this, ta-da-ta, bad. I'm going to kill you, bad guys. Yahoo. It's, Jesus, I failed you by being silent about the vision. I'm like the silver and gold that is cankered in James chapter 5, and those circle saws bigger around my outstretched arm. That vision is how the wound that heals shall be administered to the head of the beast. That vision is how the 144,000, the 12 tribes of Israel, shall be sealed in their heads. They'll tell the vision, and that is how they become sealed in their heads or their foreheads. That vision is the song that no man can sing, written in Revelation. That vision is what the apostles told on the first day of Pentecost when they were in an upper
Wesley,
chamber.
you are blowing my mind.
Oh snap! We've got a convert.
Yeah, now Wesley could get out there, for sure. And
Wesley, you will have to hit your unmute button. There you go. All right, go ahead, Lupin.
Okay.
No, actually, I wanted to kind of clarify something that Aiden and Adam were saying about me the other day, where it was funny because they were saying like I was violent toward them or something like that. You guys remember? Do you remember saying something like that,
I
Aiden?
actually remember what you're talking about, and Missing Mod presented evidence that it actually wasn't you they were talking about. That they thought it was you, but it was somebody with a similar name.
Yeah, they had the same. They had the same name. They had the same name, but it wasn't me. Missing Mod actually showed me the clip, uh, and she messaged me and she was like, "Are you FCG Claudio?" And I'm like, "What?"
That's not. No, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Fog Claudio is Zaire. So first of all, you have no idea what you're talking about as far as this is
No,
concerned.
actually, that's accurate, Aiden, because Missing Mod said that was Zaire.
Yeah, but she thought that it was. She didn't think that it was Zaire at first. I have messages with Missing Mod when she was talking about this, and she asked me if that was the person, like if I thought that that was Wolfden, and I said no, I didn't. That's obviously Zaire, and she didn't realize that it was Zaire. I was the one that clarified that to her, and I can show you the receipts to prove that too.
The receipts,
No,
the
I think you got.
receipts.
You have me
Oh, yeah,
confused.
you
You
want
have
to
me confused with another Claudio. I'm sorry. You got me confused with another Claudio, my friend. Both you and Adam. Because I have my thoughts about you, Aiden, but I don't really call for violence on the internet
I
to
never said
anybody.
you called for violence. First of all, I never said anything of the sort. Adam was the one that came to me and said that he thought that you were the person that was that threatened to dox me when we were on Brett Keene's show back in the day. So it was never about violence. And I said that yeah, I think that is the case because yeah, you do have a similar name, whether or not that person, because the person that's being talked about here, that person like FCG Claudio, that is Zaire. So they clearly weren't the person that was threatening to dox me, because Zaire never threatened to dox me.
Yeah, but it's also not me. And from what I heard, that may be his cousin actually, and not even Zaire. But it's not me. So you guys actually both had me confused for somebody else with the same name.
I mean, if that's, I have no idea whether or not that's the case because I haven't seen this clip that Missing Mod has apparently produced. I'd like to. I had a conversation with her and this never came up once. Like I said, I'd be happy to show you all the screenshots from that conversation too.
You can, because it was on a Brett Keane episode, and I've only been on a Brett Keane's episode maybe once, and that's whenever you guys actually found Zaire. We found the child that stream, which I dipped out because I thought it was weird because you guys were asking a minor. You guys were asking a minor. Uh, what I felt was inappropriate questions.
Well, we
Without
made it abundantly clear. Hold on. First of all, we made it abundantly clear on the outside of that stream. If you watched it, like you claim, we made it abundantly clear that he was, first of all, welcome to not say anything if he didn't want to. Secondly, express whether or not he was feeling uncomfortable at any point during that interaction. And three, failing either one of those things, if somebody was still being disrespectful of him, to leave if he felt uncomfortable. And none of those things occurred. He never once expressed he felt uncomfortable. He never once made any indication that he was under any sort of duress. So your claim that he was somehow like
he's underage. He can't
what
really
is
make that decision. He would have to have a parental guardian or a lawyer present.
No.
Are
How
you
do you
serious, dude?
Hold on. You were having a
Ooh.
conversation over the internet. Every single time your child has a conversation over the internet, do they have you or a lawyer present?
Yeah.
Right?
If I had a child online and we're gonna talk about something as far as molestation, then yeah, I would be
You're,
present and or a lawyer would be present.
You're aware first
bro,
of all their
you're
parents
wedging
were
a hypothetical.
and that was happening, right? Like his parents were perfectly aware that he was going on there, that everything was happening, and that they were fine with it. Like you're aware of that, correct?
Look, I'm not
And
even
you're
here to.
wedging a
I'm not.
hypothetical.
Well, no, Dustin, I'm not sure. You were asking who Zaire is. Zaire ties all into this. It's not really a hypothetical.
No, you're wedging a hypothetical. You're saying if you had a kid,
Oh
that's
well,
irrelevant to the argument.
yeah. Well, I don't think there should be any child that should be asked any questions like that
It's
were being
irrelevant to the
asked.
argument.
Okay,
It's irrelevant. What you think is irrelevant.
well, regardless, what I'm trying to say is I've only been on Brett Keen's show like once or twice, and that was maybe just once, maybe twice, but I don't
That's
know if you were
irrelevant.
even there. We're we're
That's
no
irrelevant.
we're not even talking about that. We're just talking about Aiden having me confused with somebody else.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. You're bringing up points that are irrelevant.
No, I'm just saying because Aiden was on that stream, and that's
So
been the
get to the
only
point.
stream. That was the only stream, so that he's got me confused with another person.
Well, that was
So instead of furbishing evidence, you wedge a hypothetical. That's what
What
I'm
do you-
getting at.
I,
You're
I
not
don't understand what you.
saying anything. Yeah, I know. I know you don't understand.
Yeah,
I'm trying to explain
I don't
that to you.
understand what you're talking about. How him getting me confused with somebody else.
Because you
I'm,
don't have any evidence of that.
yeah, I do. I have the picture right here.
That's not evidence.
I could share you my screen. What are you talking? What am I here trying to prove? I've never been FCG Claudio. My name is Claudio, but I've never been FCG Claudio. I'm not FCG Claudio. I don't know who that is, and that's who they're referring to.
Now I might believe that.
Dustin, I don't even really know you, so I don't know why you want to even get involved in this when you don't even know
I'm
me.
just trying to get to the facts. I'm just trying to get to the bottom line facts.
Okay,
Now,
the
I'm not
fact,
necessarily involved, but if you're gonna start wedging a bunch of stuff that's irrelevant into a conversation, I feel like that's my grounds to step in. Get to the point.
no,
Like I'll
no,
referee any conversation.
it was relevant to the conversation, but if you're not aware of the situation, then you're not
No, I
fully aware.
actually am. I saw the episode.
You know Zaire.
I was
Then what
there. Yeah, I know Zaire.
did you ask who is Zaire earlier?
I was trying to make sure that it was the same Zaire.
Oh, okay, okay. So then my point was that I've only been on Brett Keen's episode once. The episode where there's this FCG Claudio person in chat being angry or whatever toward Aiden.
No, it wasn't in chat. It wasn't in chat. That's not what happened.
Was it in voice?
There you go. You're messing the story up already.
Yeah, like you're talking
Well,
about.
then fine, it was in voice. Even better. That wasn't me.
You're talking about.
There you go.
Happened, and you just said something that wasn't what happened, though.
Look,
I saw that video. That's when I know you're full of shit.
I'm in voice chat right now. I'm in voice chat right now, and I can type something in chat. I'm in both voice and chat.
That's irrelevant.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that's not what I'm saying at all, though. I'm saying that the events that you are purporting took place did not take place over chat. They took place over voice in the actual show itself. So what is the statement you just made?
In which show was it? Which show was it?
It was the same stream.
God.
You're not. It was the same stream, but you're not talking about it how it actually happened. First of all, you said
what did I say?
First of all, you said I was that you were talking about violence. That's not what I said.
I can second that.
Has ever?
Yeah, no. Adam said that I was violent toward him or something of that matter.
Quit cutting people off. Quit cutting people off, Lumpin.
Here's what actually happened in that interaction, right? Whether it was you or whether it was somebody else, all I've got to say is they have a similar voice to you. I'm not definitively saying you're this person because I don't have evidence to or for either. But somebody came on the show. They got into an argument over Zaire, and what happened with Zaire? This is after Zaire left the room because we had a really good interaction, and he decided he had to go for the night, so he signed off, and we just talked about things after that in the stream. And somebody came on the stream who sounded like you, and we got into an argument about it. And one of the things that came up was, oh, well, you're so confident about all this, you want to try to find out where this kid lives and all that, which isn't even true, by the way. It's a total aside, but that's not even what happened. but if you were trying to find out where this kid lives, what if I try to find out where you live? I'm gonna try to find out what your address is. And I literally listed my address on stream because we were about to move from there anyways, and I laughed it off.
He
I
does
wasn't
do
looking
that.
for
He
I
does do that. I can second that. He did that to me.
Who?
He did that to me. You did that to me.
Dustin, I don't even know who you are. I never
not
met
Lupin,
you.
Not Lupin. I said Aiden. Aiden Liddon. He did that to me. Because I did. I called him out. I said, let's fight. I totally said, let's fight. Yeah, he did that to me. I can totally. So what I'm saying is he's telling the truth. Everything he said, I believe him well more than you're making up a story, bro. I'm calling it right now.
I
Show
think
your
Dustin.
cards.
I think you're just totally lost in the sauce, Dustin. I don't think you know what we're talking about and what
I think
what
you're
we're
caught.
talking about.
He's making a
I think you're
character
caught.
Caught in what? What am I
Lying.
caught?
You're
About
lying.
what
You're
am I lying
lying.
about? What
I'm
am I lying
calling you
about?
flat out as a liar, bro.
But lying about what?
I don't know. You're not being
You don't
honest.
even
That's
know
what
what
I
I'm.
know.
You don't even know what I'm lying about. If I'm lying, you're calling.
All right.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here, guys.
Are you leaving, Wesley?
Thank you
Oh,
for letting-
man, really?
Yeah.
Wesley's
Yeah.
bailed.
Thank you for letting me talk. I've extended my stay here. Thanks for listening to my music. I've got things that I have to attend to. I have things that I have to attend to.
All right, bud. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for letting me speak. It's a very rare thing these days that I'm allowed to say these things to anyone.
well,
No problem, Wesley. You know we got a lot of love for you.
Wesley, I'm saying about having a show Saturday. Can you come on there?
Sure, I would entertain that. What would I need to know?
My channel's Gangster Ghost channel. I'm subscribed to you.
Gangster Ghost?
Yeah.
Okay, let me write that down. Gangster Ghost. What time and day?
8 Saturday, 8 Eastern Standard Time.
8 p.m.
Yeah. Eastern
Saturday. So that's like 7 days away or 6 days away, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. I'll look for it.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you. Thanks, folks. I'll see you around, okay?
Hey, have a good one, Wesley.
Thanks for your performance.
Okay, so guys, you're going to have to fill me in because I'm a little bit lost as to what Lupin is being accused of lying about. Is he being accused of lying about not being the other Claudio?
I'm not. I even said earlier on in the stream that I don't know for a fact whether or not he's the person. Like, I just said I don't have the definitive evidence. I'm just saying the events that happened. And after that, Dustin said that like the events that I described in the story and how I reacted to how that person, like what they said to me on the stream, that my reaction to that was characteristic of what happened with me and him before. He wasn't saying that that was like definitive proof that that is and or is not what happened. He was just making a character analysis about me, saying that I've had an interaction like that with Aiden and he reacted in a similar way. Therefore, that fits his story, whereas Lupin is not characterizing parts of the story correctly. Like, first he was talking about violence being done where that wasn't what was happening. It was something completely different. And then the other thing came up where, oh, it was in text that was going on. Well, it wasn't in text. It was in the actual chat. So he was just saying that some things seem to line up on one side that didn't seem to line up on the other is what I've gotten from it. But I'll let them speak for themselves. That's what I've gotten, though, as like almost a third party to what's been going on right now. Go ahead, you gentlemen have the floor.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at the picture right now that she sent me. It was some dude. It was on Brett's live stream 24/7, won't stop till the gravel drops. And this is this is Mark Stoney's. And I've been on Mark Stoney's channel once. This is Mark Stoney's channel,
It's a
and
restream of the events that took place, I believe.
yeah, and it's somebody named FCG Claudio, and it says mind your own business And why DF would I lie to the cops? Think smarter, bro. Go back to school. I don't talk like that, and I don't type like that either. So that's not me. That's not
Oh my
me,
god.
man.
Hold on. Did she post that as a refutation to what we're talking about? Because I know exactly the actual context of that. I don't even like you could send it to me.
Do you
But
think that's me?
no, I'm not saying that. I know this has nothing to do with you. This screenshot, this has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. That refers to when Mark was asking Zaire about whether the accusation that was made against Mark about apparently bribing Zaire to change his statement for the cops or change his statement on video, he was saying that that's not what happened. Why DF would I lie to the cops? That's him talking about that situation, like that controversy that came up a while ago. So this screenshot that's being passed around is totally out of context. This is like the worst case of internet telephone I've ever seen in my life.
So then, why do you think that I was? Why do you think? Because this, I don't remember exactly what Adams were in chat, but I think Proverbs might. I think it was either aggressive or like violent towards, or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was in chat, but you guys, I think, have me confused for somebody else named Claudio because my name is Claudio, and I think you guys got me confused with somebody else because that name is
Well,
because
like I said, I'm not like I don't know if Adam said that you were making violent remarks or whatever. I'll let Adam stand on his own words. I don't know whether or not he said that,
Why are
but
you trying to defend yourself to somebody that's not involved in the original problem?
oh, if Adam was in here, I'd talk to him too about it. But
Well,
it
that's
seemed
not my question.
they were both involved in it because Aiden said, yeah, he
Doesn't
was
sound like it to
aggressive.
me.
Yeah, because you don't know what you weren't in the you're not in the you're not even in the loop. You introducing yourself to this is not doing anybody any favors, and it's certainly not making it anything any more clear to you.
Well, okay. Thanks
So
for the advice.
yeah, Aiden was chirping in saying that was agreeing with Adam, saying Adam, yeah, he was aggressive to me too, which was just it was funny because I've anybody that's known me knows that like I don't go into like attacks on the internet. I really don't. I find it pointless. I find it kind of silly, to be honest. So anyway, I just wanted to say, Aiden, like I don't know, man. I think you got me confused. I think Adams got me confused with a different Claudio.
I don't
And
I like I've already said like I feel like that would be true, like what you're saying about me getting confused. Like I'm not even saying whether or not you're definitively that person. I don't have the evidence. I'm just saying that because Adam came to me, which by the way, it's another thing. I'll show you the screenshots of if you want to. He came to me in conversation and he was like, "Hey, do you remember this guy? Like, do you remember him being the person that talked to you on stream?" And I was like, "Yeah, now that you bring it up, I think he might be that person." I absolutely did say that, but I wasn't the one that broached the conversation. Adam was the one that brought it up. I even said in that first message, I haven't even thought about it until he brought it up again.
right,
You're
right,
getting
right.
shoehorned in there.
Like this isn't a pressing issue for me. Like I said, in the actual events of that, I just laughed it off and I basically forgot about it. So I really don't see what the problem is here.
No, there was no problem other than you just kind of having a confusion of who I was, and you maybe thinking that I'm somebody else.
Okay, well I hope that this has been resolved? Question mark?
The case
It
of the
should be.
mistaken identity.
I guess, like maybe. I have no idea. I literally have
Look,
no idea.
Talk
because
about a
I don't like to be accused of being a violent person or making violent threats or doing whatever Adam said I was accused of doing. I don't like that. So
You
I
seem
just wanted to
capable of
clarify.
belligerence.
Okay, we're all capable of belligerence. What's your point?
Oh.
No, I'm not. Shut
Yeah,
up.
you're
I'm
not aggressive
incapable
at
of
all.
belligerence. Hey, shut up. I'm not capable of belligerence. That's rude. You better be
Sorry.
quiet about that, or I'm gonna get violent. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to make
Anyway,
trying to make light. All right, that was where the laugh track was supposed to kick in, but Steven's kind of lacking on the sound effects today. No, I'm just kidding.
Ha 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 ha.
There we go.
I don't know why everybody's picking on poor Lupin.
I'm not even picking on him. How am I picking on him?
I was.
Yeah, I don't even know you, Dustin. I don't even know why you'd want to get involved in something that you're not even aware of. But that's beyond me. I don't know.
Well,
Sorry about
conversation was placed on the table. I just made my comment.
Yeah, I mean, there's a time and place for everything, I guess.
Yeah, you're not aggressive at all.
I think you two should. I think that we should arrange some sort of like parking lot fight. Honestly, I think this is the only way to resolve this dispute. We could set up some like rickety cage link fences, chain link fences in a parking lot. That could be the cage. And then
Yeah,
we
but
could
you-
set up,
Pecking
like,
orders established.
Are you gonna be in your wetsuit lit on fire with gasoline?
Scuba
Well, yeah, I
Steve,
mean,
man, Scuba
I'm
Steve.
he'd be
even
the
if I'm
ref.
just the ref, even if I'm just the ref, that's my theme. So even if I'm just on the sidelines making sure nobody's getting too hurt, you guys better not do anything too rough. Because if I have to break you up, I'm gonna have to run into the ring on fire and break the two of
That's
you up.
okay. That's
That-
all right, buddy. That's an example of a hot guy.
Oh, I'm flattered. You can't see it, but I'm blushing.
Aiden, first
He
time I
literally wants to set himself on fire, so he's gonna be definitely a hot guy.
Aiden, first time I ever met you, I thought you were 16 or 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say you thought I was 15, not 16. Come on, I just recently turned 16. Thank you very much.
Hey, who was the guy I referred to as Brian Stelter? Does anybody remember that?
Brian Danicher?
No, there was
No.
it was
Don't
on
pull another one of these, Logan. Don't pull another Creationism. No, I don't want to do
Oh.
it. I don't want to do it.
Sorry.
This is you stirring the pot, Logan. You better knock it off. Steven's ready to boot you right now. He just sent me a message. If Logan tries this again, he's gone.
Logan is a little pot stirrer. I think we can all agree on that. He seems so innocent, but he stirs the pot so well.
I prefer to smoke it rather than stir it. But
Sorry.
smoke shit.
what? No, is shit pot now? Are those the same
Yeah,
thing?
well, it's in a pot. Like if you're stirring the pot, then you're, what goes in a pot?
Is that the only thing that goes in a pot? I'm sorry, sir. I think you might have the usage of a pot misunderstood because I typically cook with pots.
That's the expression, my friend. Now, granted, you have your leeway to say that it doesn't necessarily hold, but in turn of comedy, I think it was a good point.
No, you know what? I think that I just deconstructed your entire argument, sir, and I think that unless you assume
You're not gonna let me dodge to the comedic route? No? Come
No,
on,
I'm
man. You have an easy out. I would.
joking. Come on,
So am I.
add on to
So
it.
am I. So am I. No, back to the point, being pots and whatnot. Uh-oh, we lose somebody?
Nope.
No.
No.
Okay. Your face changed, that's why I thought something happened. Anyway,
Anyways,
So-
I think I'm gonna leave because I'm afraid and I'm scared, and I think that my whole pot argument, not working the comedic route, basically destroyed me as a person. Steven, it's been nice being on here, but if you don't delete every single show that I've been on so far, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to pull a Brett Keane on you. So
Sorry.
You could delete your channel.
I'm just basically doing the YouTube equivalent of the mafioso guy that walks up to your building and is like, that's a really nice establishment you got there. It'd be a real shame if something were to happen to it. I'm just saying. It's
Are you part of the
really
mafia?
beautiful. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
you
part of
would.
the Brett Keane Mafia. Did you
The
ever notice?
Canadian mafia.
You ever
Oh,
notice the second that I got a call? You ever notice that the second I brought up Brett Keane, I got a call from my landlord? That's because he's part of the Brett Keane Mafia.
I
And he
forgot.
came downstairs and he broke one of my legs and was like, "You better smarten up. You better not talk about Brett again." I'm like, "Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry. I'm sorry."
I forgot to say, eh? That's how you speak Canadian. Eh?
There you go. And Adam's in the chat, and he just said he was mistaken. He thought I was somebody else. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, we got this cleared up.
Adam, you're more than
everything's
welcome. You're more than welcome to come on and
everything's
talk,
all clear.
Adam.
All right. Well, I mean, if Adam's on, you know what? I'll wait around for another couple of minutes for him to come on. If he comes on,
I don't know if you're
Stay,
gonna
eh?
want to, because you're already running a lot today, Aiden. And after that
That's true.
smackdown that he gave you last, no, I'm kidding.
Oh, dude, I've never ran harder in my life. You ever hear this phrase, "tail tucked between your legs"? It wasn't even tucked between them. It was all the way around. Actually,
I will say this, in all reality, that's the only time I've ever seen you have to take a defensive position, Aiden. It was kind of nice to see.
Oh, I bet you enjoyed it. I'm sure. I just wish that you'd be willing to take defensive positions more often as well.
I often
Would you
take
like to have
defensive
a-
positions. I don't ever steer
Aiden,
away
would you
from evolution or creationism. I'm always open for the discussion.
Would you
Yeah,
like to
I
have a debate on here? Adam? Official
What do I-
debate?
I
Eh?
mean, sure. If we, what would the topic be?
About Big Bang, eh?
Sure. I mean, I would definitely have to do a bit more studying up on it and a bit more reading up on it because I have no problem admitting that Adam's more well read on this topic than I am.
King
What
Crockett
side of the
got down
debate
in
do
a
you want to
debate
be on?
Pardon me?
What side of the debate?
Oh, I'm pro
Pro
Big
or
Bang.
against? You're pro? I'll be against.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, like I said, I'm still gotta read up more on it in order to.
Hey, that's two debates, Aiden.
Hey, you know, I'll take them back to back if you want. I'll actually debate both of them simultaneously. That'd be fun. You know how Kent Hovind's always like, I'll debate 20 atheists at the same time. As long as I get equal time, I'll debate 20 Christians.
Eh? Trying to speak Canadian, eh?
You know what? Maybe Steven could be my Kent Hovind ambassador. He could carry some messages from me over to his compound, and maybe I can go and have an in-person debate. He can fly me out. We'll have an in-person debate.
Compounds
You know,
have much larger walls. You couldn't stop a dog from
Right?
escaping that place.
Oh, come on, dude. Come on. I know that it's not on video, but can you at least acknowledge the machine gun turrets that are every 20 feet on Brett's Brett's compound?
You know
On
what
Kent
is
Hovind.
funny is I don't think there's been automatic weapons on that property since Mark Stoney and Jonathan left the property. I think they were like the most heavily armed people there.
Yeah, they were gonna do bad things. That's what he's trying to say. They were gonna do bad things to people.
That is not at all what I say.
I know.
Aiden,
That's what I put on the
They had
voice.
fully automatic weapons. Actually, I don't even want to get into that.
Aiden,
Well, Mark
Yeah.
does in fact own a Sherman tank, so we probably shouldn't get into it.
Aiden.
Mark? What? No
Yes.
way. That
Yeah.
dude?
He doesn't need guns.
No way.
Mark
What
does
was
not need guns.
He was stranded. He was stranded with no money in Arizona. How he owns a Sherman tank. How does he keep up with it?
Well, he had to get to Washington from Arizona somehow. How else
In
was
the
he going
Sherman, yeah. Why wasn't that on the news?
Aiden.
Jesus, man.
Aiden.
Yes, Logan.
Hey, Adam says he want to debate you because it want to be fair to you. Eh?
He won't debate me. I just said, Adam, that I can get more well read on the topic. I just acknowledged.
No, it's got to be now, or it's got to be you conceding 100% that Adam was correct in every single imaginable way.
Either you go into the topic admittedly not well read on it, or you just concede that the entire concept of it is just garbage. That seems like a good dichotomy.
Basically, you
should-
lose with grace, or you just lose.
Or
Okay.
or alternatively, I'll just do what I already told him I was gonna do and place 20 million rockets of ionizing radiation right below his basement, and that'll solve its problem. Oh, my name's Adam Lore. I've got such strong theories. Oh my god, my skin's melting from radiation poisoning. Ah, yeah, your arguments didn't hold up so well then, did they, Adam?
I mean,
gotta
so personally, I thought Adam just absolutely was mopping the floor with you. Granted, you would mop the floor with me on the same topic in the opposite position, but I thought Adam mopped the floor with you, but I could be wrong because Adam has not come in here to brag about it yet.
I mean, he's in the chat bragging about, which is fair. I mean, you can come in here, dude. Everybody has every dog has their day, and I'm not saying that as to say you're a dog. I'm saying that even I've got to lose every once in a while, man.
Aiden, you ever heard of King Crocoduck?
King Crocoduck?
Yeah.
No, I can't say that I have.
He said he also got in a debate with him over that on comments. Yeah,
He
eh?
wait, he wants to debate me?
No, I mean, Adam got in he said he got in discussion with King Crocoduck before.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misheard you because my connection wasn't the greatest.
King Crocoduck believes in the Big Bang. He debated Ken Hovel once. Eh?
Oh, he debated Ken Hovel?
Yeah, eh?
Eh? If you say
That's how
eh
you
one more time, there's gonna be problems with it.
Oh, but that's how you speak Canadian.
One more time, I'm gonna laugh.
Like Canadian bacon, eh?
Bro, you're a total hoser.
Sorry.
Hey, you better calm down there, you hoser.
Yeah, hoser?
Yeah, hoser.
Yeah, eh?
Hey, I'm telling you right now, eh?
Aiden, did
Dude,
you ever go?
Jackson, eh? Yeah, nobody,
I'm in
nobody
Canada.
like this, eh?
Where
Aiden,
everybody
did you
rides
watch Strange Brew
drinks
yet?
maple syrup.
You've got to watch
watch
Strange
what?
Brew.
I'll have to watch it at some point.
It's the story
Adam,
of your
come on.
people.
Hold on, I'm gonna check the chat. I thought I saw him again in chat. Come on the stream. I did.
He was actually in the chat, and he wasn't throwing shade, but he was throwing a real decent amount of backhanded compliments.
Well, you would need time to learn how to read a science paper first, Aiden. How was I? Wait, was I reading it wrong when I read it? I was doing a pretty good job. You
Well,
even said that I was.
it's just that we wanted you to read it like ancient Hebrew, so we wanted you to read from right to left.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't articulate it just how you wanted me to. Okay, I got it.
It's okay. You know, for next time, you'll have a chance to win again.
I don't want to debate Aiden on the Big Bang. That would not be fair to Aiden.
Look at that shade.
All I gotta say is once again, I'll learn up on it more, but I don't know how I was not reading the scientific paper correctly. I was going through it how you wanted me to do it. You were telling me how specifically to do it, and I was doing what you told me to do. So I don't know how I was doing it wrong. If I was doing it wrong, then I was doing it by your direction.
In the ancient lost language of ancient Canada.
It's true. It's true. It's actually a mixture of French and English. It's why the Acadians were all banished, because they knew too much. We had to get rid of them.
Yeah, eh?
That's right, eh?
Who are the Arcadians?
Canadian bacon, eh? Oh.
Canadian bacon? Okay, the whole thing about it being ham.
It's a lie. It's a lie. That's what it is. It's just a lie, okay? I don't want to hear you try and justify it, okay? Even Stevie, he doesn't even eat pork. He'll tell you it's blasphemy, okay? It's a lie. But go ahead, entertain us.
Hey, I'm not your freaking puppet, eh? I'm not just gonna when you want me to, eh? That's just rude, eh, a hoser.
The other day I joined my friend's
talking about
you're turning from Canadian to like a cholo from California, brother.
You know that goofy.
Yeah, SA.
SAA.
Oh man. Hey, SA.
What do you mean, huh? What do you mean by that?
That'd be an interesting Halloween costume. Cholo lumberjack Canadian.
Hey, Holmes, what are you trying to say, eh?
That one sounded a little Irish.
Oh, I don't know what you mean there, laddie. I have never been once over by the Emerald Isle, you know.
Well, my channel is definitely going to be flagged for cultural appropriations now.
You got yourself straight on,
I can imagine the lines of Canadians. All the moose everywhere.
There's a moose loose about the goose.
They're going to stop trading us maple syrup, and we're going to have terrible waffles.
Logan, stop inserting A every time I don't say it, God.
Oh, sorry.
A. There we go, A. Logan, and now I've got Logan. First, Adam's back on one end, trying to say that I'm just like inept when it comes to talking about this stuff, and then I've got Logan commenting on my Facebook, going, "This is literally word for word. Hi, Aiden London. You still look 16. I'm just being assailed on every angle here, man. Like, I don't know what's going on. I came in here to persecute people. I don't appreciate the persecution. All right."
See, you may want to persecute Christians, but the Canadians always get persecuted.
There's some cross persecution going on.
You know what? I can't hold back my emotions anymore, honestly. Adam didn't come in here to stomp on my teeth, so honestly, I think I'm just gonna go and cry.
No, I'm sorry, eh?
You should be. You should be sorry, Logan. I blame you personally. And I'm actually going to be lamenting you specifically, even though you had nothing to do with this, eh?
Eh?
Yeah, that's right, eh?
That's how you speak Canadian, by saying eh.
You know what's gonna get dropped on your house later on, Logan? An A-bomb.
Eh?
Yeah,
a very polite A.
Yeah, no,
You know, his name was Fuji Den, but
it's gonna be an
it's in
A-bomb.
Canada, Aiden.
Moose and maple syrup everywhere.
It's way more devastating than a regular A-bomb. No, it's the A-bomb.
Could you guys imagine us being invaded by a bunch of... But could you guys imagine us being invaded by the Mountie?
Yeah, eh?
If they were riding moose, I'd be afraid.
You guys are always talking your smack. Oh, we can conquer Canada anytime we want. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay.
Look, man, Canada is nothing but America's hat, okay?
You already tried it once.
Canada's nothing but Frenchman.
It didn't work out well for you.
I don't want to conquer Canada. All I want is for you guys to be willing to take New York and California. That's it. And we can live in peace.
That would be...
We don't want it.
I second that.
You don't understand.
I also agree with that.
We already
Where do we sign the petition?
No, listen. We already have Quebec, okay? Quebec is the most insufferable place on the planet. You think that California and New York are bad? Quebec is so bad that even the French don't want them, okay? The French don't want them.
Oh, yeah, there's
No, mais oui, monsieur, we shall leave Canada, we shall join France once again, oh yes. And then they do the rest.
Yeah, but California political policies spread like herpes, and what I mean is right when you think you finally have treated it, it comes back with like a bigger rash than before. So I would bet that California is way worse. It's like herpes you can't get rid of.
Yeah, but they make a lot of money though. At least you're making money with the herpes, right? Like money buys herpes treatment.
They don't make that much money though. Like they have a large economy, but their spending is so bad, they bring in little money for the economy.
Steve, Andy, no, Aiden.
Andy, yeah, I'm Andy. Yeah, what do you want? Hey, everybody, it's Andy. How's it going? I'm a new character now.
Do little people in that state have people go outside and go or bath them on the ground?
Logan,
California does.
Don't you dare Don't you dare make those implications, all right? We have ice huts to use the washroom in. Thank you very much. Okay? You think that we're
California,
at a low level
they
of
literally,
technology that we're just gonna go on the ground environment? We have
California, they literally have people outside going a bath on the ground, out in the streets.
Are you talking about like India and Pakistan?
No,
and
I mean
places
in
like
California.
Bangladesh? Oh,
I've
well, I mean,
seen
like places in California are pretty analogous to India and Pakistan and Bangladesh. So I mean,
Eh,
like the comparison's fair.
yeah, they literally have people go outside, take go to the bathroom on the ground.
Well, that's like San Francisco. There's literally like a poop map for San Francisco.
Yeah.
Like, tracks where people poop.
That makes sense, yeah. And then the problem with New York is that it's full of New Yorkers.
But I just wonder, like, I really have, like
That was
every
a
other
low blow.
like every other venture in American history, you gotta make money with it. So how is the poop app making money? Do people get commissioned? Like, do they
Yep.
get a commission every time they document a poop?
Look,
Because
if
that's
every time I had to walk to work, I needed to know where drops of poop were, so I didn't walk in human feces, I would pay $5.99 a month for that app.
I want to chime in on that actually.
Go ahead, Dustin.
That's an interesting point to jump in.
Well,
That really is an interesting place to
Well,
defend.
if there's one thing I have experience in,
It's the poop app.
it's useless crap.
Eh?
I'm
Maybe
sorry.
when you're in California, it's not that useless. Very much needed in California.
Eh?
Okay.
Logan, listen to
What?
me. Listen to me. My mental health, it's deteriorating with every A, okay? It's falling apart. I'm hanging onto my sanity by my fingernails, Logan, please.
Blame
Oh,
Canada,
sorry.
eh?
Oh, Canada.
I gotta go. Hey guys,
Sorry, Aiden.
Goodbye, Aiden.
All right, cut. I think they bought it.
That's a wrap. All right,
Where
so
you
back to
going?
our poop app.
Yeah, which one are you going to take one on?
I don't need a poop app because I live here in the South and we have like regulations about people pooping in public.
Yeah, they really, I
Well,
seen
so
the
does
news,
California.
they literally have people out there doing that. They're on the street and they're taking poo on the streets.
Well, are you willing to share your bathroom, Logan? Because we can send them your address and be like, hey, if any of you guys need to drop a deuce, don't do it outside. Go to Michigan. Go find Logan.
Now go to where you're from, Georgia.
I'm not from Georgia. I'm from Florida, but I live in Alabama.
Do you know what you could do that would be a lot easier than surrendering your toilet, cutting a hole in a bucket?
True. Yeah, Logan,
We
would
could
you be willing to
definitely
share your
eliminate a lot
bucket?
of that problem. Or a pot.
Not a pot that you're going to be cooking with afterwards, though.
You sure?
That's why they were called kettles.
Wow,
Huh?
this escalated so quickly.
What happened to Steven and ProverbsGuy? You need to tell the vision.
I have never had that kind of vision, Logan, and
Why?
it would be copyright infringement for me to tell Wesley's vision.
Oh, okay.
Next time he comes on, we'll ask him to tell the vision again.
Okay.
Bro, leave the old man alone. He's on his own little world.
And
You
he's
don't gotta
a
antagonize
really
him.
cool guy too, man. Like, and he's talented, and when you can get him off that one topic, like, he's interesting.
I
Yeah,
noticed
he's
that
got a
with
point.
artsy people. He's very artsy and he's very articulate and he's a good person. I think he's a decent person. His ideas are just out there.
But I didn't get any pizza.
There's no question about that. Yeah, I also didn't get any pizza.
Yeah, me neither. I'm disappointed on that.
I'll tell you what, if I had got a large pizza, I probably would have been more apt to tell that vision. I love a good pizza.
Would you like it be from Pizza Hut?
No, I
Pizza
worked
Hut's
at
good.
Pizza Hut when I was really young, like 18. I ran the kitchen, and I'm not a huge fan of Pizza Hut pizza. I like Papa John's.
What about Sorrento's?
Since 18?
No, I don't work there now. I worked there when I was 18 to about 22,
Yeah,
23.
since the age of 18?
No. I stopped working
How old are
there
you
after
now?
like 3 years.
How old are you now?
I'm 33.
22?
33? Yeah, I'm 36.
Okay.
I thought you were 22, ProverbsGuy.
No, sir, not I.
Oh, you look 22.
I wish
He
I
doesn't
felt
smoke.
22.
Oh. Mark, he's 30.
Damn, I thought you guys were a lot older. That's crazy.
Thanks
What
a
do you mean?
lot, bro.
Right?
Exactly how it sounded.
I know who's getting booted
Stupid.
next.
I'm out of here.
Are you 20?
Later.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm 32.
You look 20.
You're 32?
You're a year younger than me and like 3 or 4 years younger than Dustin. How old did you think we were, Lupin?
I thought you said you were 20 something.
No.
Maybe that was a joke that I just missed out on a joke. Okay.
Maybe.
No, he was talking about when he worked at Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked at Pizza Hut when I was like between 18 and 23.
I think that's just Gangster Ghost spreading misinformation all around.
He probably
sorry.
is.
I think Logan is just muddying the waters here.
Oh, sorry.
That's why he's our official pot
No,
stirrer.
you're not.
So, Dustin,
No.
was that your first introduction to Wesley?
Wesley. Yes. That was and I have a great impression as far as his musical ability. That was amazing. Like, that man has talent.
Lupin, you've you've run into Wesley several times though, correct?
Yeah, I've talked to him a few times.
Don't make Wesley mad when we say gnash your teeth, Allah.
Oh, he only does that when he gets cornered, Logan.
Oh, okay.
When he
He
gets
said that,
cornered, he lashes out.
To Brian
Well,
and to Rosie. He said that too. And to Pastor Chuck in the comments.
I don't like to necessarily talk about people when they're not around.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, Wesley's cool. It's just his visions and his stories, they just go so off the track, and sometimes they take so long, and there's just, you don't know what to say, but kind of like, okay, so on moving on then, and something it's like, I don't know, you can't really respond to much of that stuff, so at least it's very difficult to respond in a way because it's just very unique to him.
I have a question as to whether or not that man has ever tried acid or peyote.
So he was a
maybe-
pretty big musician back in his day, and he worked on several different films that the actors went on to be big time actors. Like, he worked with them while they were still like B-rate actors, some of the big names. And he did a lot of partying, from what I understand. There was some drugs involved in, you know, that lifestyle,
Yeah,
that celebrity
That
lifestyle.
man has demons. I hate to tell you that, but it's true. He's got some stuff he needs to put to bed.
Yeah, it's just really hard to gauge exactly where he's at on that, man, because he is like diagnosed schizophrenic also. and I agree with you that there's like a spiritual element there, but with people who suffer from schizophrenia, it's so hard to cipher like what is spiritual and what is mental. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying, but schizophrenia is also diagnosed by environmental exposure. So, and this is a stretch. I understand that, but from my perspective, the reason he has schizophrenia is because he's being tortured by voices that he can't shut off.
Well, I mean, that would kind of go along with things that he has said before. He said that to this day he hears the voices of celebrities, and these celebrities will tell him to tell the vision.
Yep, he's got demons, man. I'm telling you, I can tell.
Yeah, the big question is, with someone in
I
that
have a
unique
unique
position, how do you now how do you cleanse them of that?
There's only two ways. There's
Prayer and
only two
fasting.
ways. No, no. That you're looking at this a different perspective. Yes, if a person is self-inclined, wants to get rid, that's one way. But that man is holding on. So there's only two ways. Jesus, or you have to satisfy the demon. That's it. There's only two ways. The demon has to let go, and the demon will not let go unless he is satisfied. That requires a sacrifice.
Okay, that's deep. Now, when you say the first way is Jesus, are you talking about like divine intervention or just laying it down at the feet of Jesus?
No. When you're dealing with Jesus, it's an agreement. There's no communication. It doesn't work like that. You make your promise and you stick by it, and Jesus will keep his end. As so on earth, I will hold in heaven. That was his promise. God only helps those who help themselves. Now, that's not to say that Jesus hasn't marked certain people based on the way their parents have prayed for being saved. If that man had good parents, which it kind of sounds like to me that's the case, and they made prayers, that God is extending his grace. Because you don't live as lavish as that man does with the mental impurities that he has without having some grace from somewhere.
Fair enough. Lupin, anything to add to that? Your personal feelings.
Yeah, you know, he's definitely out there. You know, his thoughts are out there. I don't know if I necessarily want to go as far to say that they're demons and whatnot. I don't know if I want to exaggerate that. I'm not saying that it can't be, but you know, I've found this. I've just found this pattern with like I said, like a lot of eccentric and artsy folk that are very talented in there, but then they have these very often like kind of misconstrued or almost like I know I said far out there, but I just I don't know what other word I could use to describe it, but it's just a really crazy. I don't want to even say crazy, but it kind of does seem kind of crazy sometimes to people, and it's usually like a very big disparity. Like I said, I don't know if that was his artwork or some art that he purchased, but he has a taste for art, and it's very in his artwork. It looks like very humanistic, kind of spiritual art, and he's obviously musically talented. And I guess there's like just this kind of like I don't know. It could be an autism thing. I don't know, but he's like very high in one sense, in that musical artistic kind of sense, and then on the spiritual sense, it's a little convoluted and confused. So,
Lupin.
huh?
Yeah, Lupin. The other day on the 21-hour stream with Steven, stop. What's the name? Stamp.
Yeah,
Stump?
Stamp.
Yeah, he was on. Wesley said to him was the most weird, crazy thing ever. He asked him about his grandchildren. I think, what would he do if someone came to his house and I told Steven about this area, raped his kids mentally or something? He said the devil did that with the vision. Well, not telling the vision. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that part. That's
Bro, your recreations or something else.
Yeah, it was crazy. What do you think, Lupin?
I didn't hear that, but I can imagine him saying something like that.
Yeah, Pat guy, he's a very nice guy.
Yeah, Pat's great.
Yeah, he took it very nicely, but what he said to it was crazy. Crazy, like, but almost crazy as Proverbs guy.
Almost as crazy as Proverbs guy, eh?
Yeah. Eh?
See?
What do you
Yeah,
think?
I think I don't have kids, so I don't know, but I know Patrick, and I know he has a very calm demeanor, and I've only seen him get kind of like flustered maybe once or twice, and I think that was dealing with Sterling, and once with dealing with Aiden. Aiden can be difficult to deal with, man. Aiden can be interesting. But
Sometimes he gets passionate and he just needs like a brief timeout, like a cool down and think about it, and then come back to it, and then he's okay.
Yeah, that.
yeah,
Sterling, what we got?
I don't know, bro. I think I don't know. I think he was kind of waffling a little bit.
Yeah, Sterling, he would got mad at Stump.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me. Because he was getting into it like passionate. I was just asking questions.
Yeah, he was talking about slavery. He
I'll
said,
I'll tell you what, Dustin, you should have really watched the 21-hour stream.
Okay.
I did a 21-hour stream. It was 21 hours straight last week, and a lot of these topics got brought up in those 21 hours. I have like the last 11 hours of the 21. I'm gonna post it tomorrow. You can go back and watch like the second half, but truthfully, the first half I thought was a whole lot better.
yeah,
Did you enjoy my argument though?
Which argument?
With Aiden?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Was
dude.
it
I
easy
thought
to follow?
yeah, I thought you brought up some really interesting points, especially with the fact that humans who should be more evolved, the babies are less evolved.
A chimp born, I'm telling you, a baby chimp has more of a percentage, by more, even by his own argument. He's saying that a chimp born that would be abandoned would be adopted by another species and survive. By his own argument, he's defeating his premise that a species that was born out of one species to another wouldn't be alienated. I'm like, well, but then how would the species know to take care of the human? Right? If there isn't that intelligent factor there to alienate from the pack, then how is there that intelligent factor there to take care of this abnormal species that has nothing to offer?
Well, not just that. Like that's an interesting point on its own, right? So, like what made these humanoids want to care for this human offspring. But an even more interesting
Yeah.
point than that is how would they have the knowledge to care for a human being?
Exactly. They wouldn't know. Like, how would you don't breastfeed as far as I know, you don't breastfeed a chimp, right? That's not how they do it.
It's a
I
good
think they
question,
do actually
I
breastfeed, but
don't
the
know.
thing is like, are the nutritions in a chimpanzee's breast milk capable of sustaining a
I
human
know the
being?
DNA's not compatible. I
Right,
know the DNA's not compatible. So if the proteins are the same as the DNA, then how would the human synthesize the milk?
right.
He didn't even broach that subject, right? He went the other way. He was like, "Oh, we just take that for granted." Like, well, okay, but then you didn't really broach the problem. Like, you're not really attacking my argument. You're not even on the same page. Like, you want to strut around like a pigeon, shit on the board, and fly away.
Yeah, Aiden likes to do that, and that's why it's difficult to even speak with him. Because once you make a point, he'll go on to a different point, and then throw on 5 other different points, and then it's like, wait, you didn't even address the first point we made. And yeah, he does that a lot.
Well, he never even broached the subjects that I was trying to bring up, and wow. I don't know. I'm ready for round two. I have a couple more points I wanted to bring up.
Well, it's
Would
totally
you
up
like?
to you guys how long we hang out here today, so he may have time to come back. I'm hoping Adam Lore stops by. You know, it'd be great if
I,
Stump would come by. Lupin, do you want to message Stump and let him know we're doing this? I guess Lupin doesn't want to do that.
Lupin, are you there?
My bad, I didn't know I was. I forgot that I was muted. I can message him and let him know that you're having a show. I was probably gonna
Pseudo
head
debate.
out. I think I was going. No, not necessarily a debate, but I'll let him know that you're hosting something. But you got him on Discord, right? You can message him on Discord.
Yeah, I think I have him on.
Discord?
Yeah, I have him on Discord. My phone is across the room. I'm running this whole show off my hotspot.
Why?
Because my hotspot's quicker sometimes.
How hot is this spot?
Oh God.
It's not very hot, eh?
Oh, sorry.
So, do either of you guys know like a good atheist who we could have come on and have like a good discussion with? I'm kind of in the mood to talk business with an atheist.
Big Bad Mama?
Yeah, bring it.
Big Bad
Big
Mama
Bad
can come on.
Mama
I don't
is a
think Big Bad Mama will come
coward.
on.
Oh, I forgot. He said he's on vacation now. I asked him in the comments. He said he's on vacation.
Atheist-Ayden is welcome to come on. Like any of these guys who want to come on and talk business, like open
AJ
discussion.
made one of the. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, he was on Kent's stream and he made one of like the he made such a dumb accusation, bro. It's like I can't handle they want to accuse Christians of being stupid, but they say some of the dumbest stuff, and then they want us to take their advice on biology and science. Whenever AJ says, "Well, if you have a broken rib, then you wouldn't be able to talk or move," it's like, no, that's not how it works. You can have it would be very painful. It would be very painful. It actually, whenever you break a rib, they can't actually like put it. They can just put a binder on you. You know, it's very hard to like actually deal with that. It just has a kind of heal on its own. And this guy wants us to. He wants to be an authority on science and biology. Like, get out of here, bro. Like, he's totally ignorant.
Dude, he's just like Robert Beatty in that way. He'll be like, I demand an answer for this. And it's like, who the heck do you think you are that I owe you anything? Like, I don't owe you anything, bro. You are not an authority in my life at all in any field. Like, you're not a respected source, even. Like, why do you
Not
think we
even
owe
that.
you something, AJ?
even whenever you give him an answer, he doesn't accept the answer. It's like there's no winning. It's essentially like Stump says. It's essentially, and it's a verse in the Bible, but it's essentially casting pearls to the swine. It's like there comes a point where it becomes pointless.
Well, it's interesting
And
that you brought that up because Dustin brought that up earlier as well.
That is interesting. Speak of the
yeah,
devil, and he shall hear.
that's that's all I gotta say on that, man. It's just some of these guys. It's almost pointless to argue with them. And the moment that you do argue with them, if they even if they accept terms of debate, the moment they start talking, you realize that they don't know anything that what they're talking about. They don't know nothing. All they know is just regurgitated information that they've heard off somebody else that they think is smart, because they'll phrase it the exact same way that person will. They don't even try, and they
I
don't even
mean,
try
in
to.
in their defense, though, just to kind of play devil's advocate a little bit, like, aren't we also guilty of doing the same thing with our vindicators? Like, for me, in creationism, my vindicator is Kent Hovind. So I do find myself using a lot of his arguments because they're arguments that I subscribe to, right? So, I mean, that's just kind of human nature. I can't really fault them for that, I guess is what I'm saying.
You can use some arguments like for the age of the earth because they're compelling arguments and they've yet to be refuted, you know. But they use arguments like Lucy that has been proven to be a lie, and then they keep using Lucy as examples when we're like, that's been debunked 4 years. They use Haeckel's drawing, that's been debunked 4 years. They keep using fake stuff to try and prove a point, and that's a little bit. I think that's a little bit different. And I guess you could. I understand where you're coming from, but I don't know. I guess since we accept or believe that we have the truth on our side as Christians, that you make a
That's a
valid point.
fallacy. Fallacy. That's. I'm sorry. I got to call fallacy on that last statement. Not all Christians believe we have the truth.
Okay.
What about Kent?
Well, we think the gospel is true. So it's hard for us to veer from that. But whenever
Which gospel?
the gospel of the gospel of the gospel, the good news that Jesus
Mormons
is
don't think
risen.
the gospel is entirely true. Mormons have their own book.
Okay, well that's the Mormon that I'm saying. Christians who believe in the gospel that Jesus died for our sins and he's our savior and he's the only way into heaven through his grace. That gospel.
You got me there. But
Yeah.
it's still a facile argument because not every Christian believes that. Because Muslims, or not Muslims, Mormons, they believe they're Christian, even if we don't accept it. So to a degree, there's leeway to make an argument there.
Okay. Well, I mean, what I'm just trying to say is they use information that is false, and we've corrected them. Like I said, with
I
Lucy,
100% agree with you there.
that's been proven false. They have yet to been able to prove what Kent says is false. They have not proven, they have not given good evidence that anything that Kent said has been false. I just want to ask AJ, look, in the beginning of the creation, whenever life first started, was there only one type of organism? And did that organism evolve into everything that we see, or was there multiple organisms that evolved to multiple different organisms? And if so, that would still evolve.
Well, let me just answer on behalf of AJ. That's a really stupid question because the organisms were totally different then, right? Like, you're not even talking about the same organisms, and you should know that.
AJ, thank you for joining.
Yeah, I sent a link to him.
Yeah,
He'll never come on.
It goes into a spiral in the circle that is just and then they like to, I'm sorry, but whenever they start saying logical fallacy or straw man or something like that, it's like, this isn't how you talk to people. This isn't how you talk to people. You don't, in even in most other debates, whenever somebody presents a straw man or something like that, you don't just say straw man, blah blah blah. You counteract what they said, and it's just like, this isn't how you talk to people normally. This is just, it's a bizarre world.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ on that point.
You could say it's a straw man. You could say it's a straw man, but then you have to explain what it is that they made a straw man out of. But the way that they do it, it's just a way to I think it's just a way to persuade the crowd.
That's the point of the debate.
But they're going after small victory. It's going after small victories, and they're not looking at the bigger picture. They're going after little. It's like whenever somebody slips up and has a little slip up on their words, and they focus on that little word versus the entire argument. It's a little victory.
Yeah, I agree with you that there are some people that do that, but in principle, it's wrong. And usually, if you're dealing with a smart crowd, they can pick that out.
Yeah, but it's the atheist crowd, so I mean, what are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, that's a compelling argument for quitting.
I'm just joking. It's actually, I know some very intelligent atheists, but
Who's the most intelligent atheist you know, Lupin? Who's the most intelligent atheist you know, and who's the least intelligent atheist that you know?
That is a good question that I don't have on the top of my head, because I'm trying to pull stuff that I've seen from the internet, and then I'm also trying to pull things that I know from my personal life. Like, I know personally, I know people that are atheists, but they're geniuses whenever it comes to computer programming and coding and things like that. I know them, and I know that they're geniuses because I understand computer programming and coding. Definitely not to a level that they do. They understand, like I said, some of my friends that mod video games with me, they're geniuses. I was like, man, dude, these guys are like low key geniuses.
Richard Dawkins?
I actually saw a funny video about Dawkins, but yeah, I don't.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I personally.
Great grandfather was a fish. Is that the guy?
No, it was an African ape. It was an African ape. We're all African apes, okay? We're all African apes. But we're still fish. We're still fish.
PC Myers said that.
That's the guy. Like, you believe we came from fish? We're still a fish. We're still a fish today. Look at us.
I wish I was a fish.
I can't outswim a shark, and I cannot breathe underwater, but you're still a fish. Which is opposite of all the qualifying factors of making a fish. You have none of them, but you're a fish.
ProverbsGuy, I think he's a bear, right?
I'm a human. I am a flawed replication of a replication of a replication of Adam. I'm like a very cheap knockoff.
Embrace the bearhood.
So
embrace the bearhood, Proverbs.
If you saw me, if you saw me without a shirt, if I was without a shirt and you saw me walking in the forest,
No, that's not the direction I was going with that. Whoa! Never
Look,
mind. Put it down.
no,
Put
no.
the bear
If
down.
I was walking in the forest, you'd be like, "There's Bigfoot. There's the missing link right there. That's the missing link."
Put the bear down. Put the bear down. Step away from the bear idea.
Bro,
That was bad. My bad.
I'm a hairy dude, man. It takes some. I swear, you think I'm a missing link almost if you saw me out in the wilderness, brother.
What if you're a werewolf?
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, good idea.
Not just that,
Are
but do you
you a
guys ever
werewolf?
stop and think about, like, if the theory of evolution is true, it makes such little sense, right? Because even in nature, they have their own standards for what they consider beauty, and they try to mate with what they consider the most physically appeasing. So could you imagine, like, an ape giving birth to some kind of little humanoid? Like, no other ape would want to mate with that thing.
No.
And if it
Yeah.
did mate with
It'd
that thing,
probably be
it would
killed.
mate the
It'd be
human
killed.
out of existence unless
Yes.
multiple babies evolved at the same time. And then these two ugly things
See-
found each other.
Proverbs guy. This is why I heard they say that people like animals evolve in groups. They say.
They say, hey,
Eh?
That sounds like a theory they came up with because that's the only way it would work. But that's putting a whole lot of chance and timing that everything's going to evolve at the same time, which we know for a fact it doesn't, or we wouldn't have all these other species running around Earth. They should have all evolved. So if evolution was true, we know that things, creatures, would evolve at different paces. So it's just ridiculous that they would think multiple little humanoids evolved at the same time, and then we're lucky enough to find each other and hope one is a male and one is a female, and being the only of this new species, have to figure out on their own how the reproduction thing works. It's ridiculous.
yeah. This video that I saw with Dawkins, it kind of explained this defense mechanism of atheists and how it's changed over time. Because not too long ago, quite a couple of years ago, uh, Dawkins was asked a question, um, what would it take for you to believe in a God? And he said, well, if he saw a message in the sky that said it was a God, or it was a divine, like a divine voice in his head, an actual voice in his head that confirmed that it was a God. So he once had a point where he would accept that there would be forces that could make him believe in a god. But now you ask him that question has that answer has now been changed to, well, if I did see that, I would say it was like an elaborate trickster that put that message in the sky, or that what I heard in my head was an illusion. So I would never believe in a god. So they're coming from a point now where it's like there would be no convincing them that there is a God. Uh, Even if it was God, they would try. They would come up with a reason to not accept God. So it's a very tricky thing to deal with these atheists because they change their minds. They change their minds, and it's an interesting video that's by David Wood that can go into more detail on their defense mechanism to deny any kind of belief in God or sign that there is a God.
Defense mechanism's not necessarily the proper term.
Whatever you want to call it.
I would say rescue device.
Gotta say it's the Proverbs guy's fault.
Yeah,
It's all Proverbs guys' fault, man.
they're little flotation wingies that go on their arms when they jump in the lake, just in case they won't drown.
Yeah. It's all your fault.
I'll take the blame.
Just joking. Eh?
The buck stops there.
Yeah. Proverbs guy. Would you like to host a show debate of Adam versus Ayden?
I kind of
He's your
already did. I did on that 21-hour stream. They had a nice little debate. And believe it or not,
he's your
Adam debated against the likelihood of the Big Bang. And I was cheering him on because, like, he was doing a lot of the hard work for Christians. Like, yeah, Big Bang couldn't happen. You need Jesus.
yeah. He's your great grandfather.
Who's my great grandfather?
Adam.
Eh?
Adam is everybody's
take a
great
second?
grandfather.
Adam
Can we
Lord?
take a second? Can we take a second to acknowledge that Aiden brought up Tarzan to win an argument?
Well, technically, he brought in Jungle Book, but from
Yeah,
what I heard,
No,
it
you
was
said
Jungle Book.
Tarzan.
You know
I
what?
think it
You
might have been a
straight
joke.
said Tarzan.
I do feel like Aiden was just like tired because he typically gives really good arguments. And that was kind of weak sauce for Aiden. Like, he's better than that.
It's interesting. I was watching this. I saw this Trey Smith. I gotta quit watching Trey Smith because I watched it like 6 times already. It's just so good. It's like one of those videos. Every time you rewatch it, you kind of learn something new. And it,
Yeah, I gotta second that.
So, Dustin, you were saying that you found me through doing research on Ron Wyatt?
Yep.
How long ago was that?
Well, it was just before you and I had that spat on God TV Radio.
Okay.
Because you were doing a live. I had that little circle around you and it said live.
Oh, yeah.
So I pressed on the icon and it brought you up and you were on Brett Keen's channel. Like it was just like that. It was like bing bang boom. And then I got introduced to all the drama, right? And you and I didn't actually converse about it until after Zaire, aka, was actually found, quote unquote, even though there was never any missing person report.
Yeah, that's funny because, you know, what Kent says was actually accurate the whole time. He said the boy was never missing. He was with his parents. Like, what are you guys talking about? And they're like, no, we're going to find the boy. And then they find the boy and he's with his parents.
It's like it's not. And they're like, well, it wasn't his parents, but it was his parental guardians. You know, it was just like they're just trying. They're trying to make something that's not there. You know, because
Yep. Yep.
Because they obviously have an agenda, and that agenda is to destroy Kent Hovind. And I think it's part of a bigger agenda to destroy the gospel and the message, the message of Christ. Which that's what I personally take as like an attack on Christianity. Is they're destroying, they're striking down somebody who has saved thousands, if not millions, of people because Ken Hovind is way bigger than YouTube. You know, Ken Hovind's been around way longer than YouTube.
Oh, bro, people are
people
still getting saved off Kent Hovind's VHS tapes going around.
100%. Yeah, and whenever I see people attack a man that brings people to know Christ, whether you agree or disagree with them, if you say that you're a Christian and then you go and make your life just attacking this person, and then your channel is nothing but destruction. Like their channels, and you know who I think you know who I'm talking about. Whenever I say their channels, it's
I'm with you.
literally
Yep.
it's literally nothing but pure destruction. They're not trying to build their channel up, and I think they see that once Kent's channel got taken down, nobody watches your video because you were just a pawn. You were just being used to destroy this person's channel.
Well, they
And those
removed their
person
relevancy. Like, they removed
exactly
the only thing that kept them relevant.
it's totally self-destructive, and they don't even.
Well, YouTube went and screwed them over because they got what they were asking for. They didn't know what they were asking for until they got it. Now what they wanted is gone, and they're looking at it like, watch. I give it 2 more months, and they'll be putting it back on YouTube because these guys are crying.
Yep. Yeah, they've got nothing to report on. And now,
Nothing.
like, Kent had to start over with new channels. So the funny part is
Yep.
any reach that they had for like 200,000 plus people also just went bye-bye. So now they're reaching like a much smaller crowd when they're trying to pinpoint. And everybody who found Kent Hovind again is like a Kent Hovind super fan. And nothing they have to say is going to convince them otherwise. So it's just irony.
Right.
Like, they got what they deserved, I think.
Well, yeah, they got smacked in the face by the board they were sawing.
Yeah, literally.
Whap.
And now they're posting a lot less. Like, none of them are doing their lives anymore. You know, like their live streams. It's like their channels are just dying now because they took down the great Kent Hovind.
Well, and there's a spirit of rebellion. Okay, you got to pay attention to that. Whenever you have an icon, someone that doesn't profess to be a guru, right, and tries to eliminate themselves from the equation, that's when you draw out. And look, I'm gonna still sound a little biblical here. You draw out the possessed people, and that's what we're dealing with. It's not LGBTQ. It's not. They're possessed. There's more than enough demons to go around. There's probably a few that follow you people.
Steve,
There's a way to be aware of it.
Steven,
Mr. Logan?
have you talked to that lady Joanna?
I have not talked to Johanna. Not since we did that episode with her and Kent.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. Sorry.
Go ahead,
No,
Lupin.
you could go.
I wanted to talk to Sky Brian a little bit about his time at Dinosaur Adventureland, because to stay at a place for a year and then say that you didn't enjoy it just seems kind of odd to me. I don't know, maybe if he started off enjoying it and then toward the end it just got kind of frustrating, or he got overworked or something like that. It's or maybe, and like I said, I'd like to talk to him because it would be his personal experience. Um, I just want to understand how you stay at somebody for a year and then come to the conclusion that you didn't like it, but it could be a number of reasons. Um,
Logan, do you
but
want to send an invite to Skylar and ask him to come back on, and maybe we could talk about that?
maybe at another time. I'm probably gonna have to bounce off here. It looks like Kent might be on. If you want to, I'm just saying, if you want to stretch your playtime, there is a Kent Hovind open mic on Standing for Truth channels, but it looks like it might be a replay.
Yeah,
Actually.
it's a replay.
It's a
Yeah, it is.
replay.
I asked someone on there, and that's what they said. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, that's what I found out.
Yeah. I would be just kind of interested in that story because people go down to Dinosaur Adventureland for all sorts of reasons. Some people, it's like some people don't even, I mean, maybe it's like a last resort, or like, I got to get out of this town. Nobody wants me here. Let me go over here for a while. And that while becomes a year. And then things happen over that year that eventually you makes you turn against somebody. But I don't know, just I found whenever I asked him that and then he said no, he didn't enjoy it, I thought that was I thought that was a pretty like dry no, and it's like there was no there, just like there was no good that came out of it, or is it just plain no? And then I don't know, just for somebody to be there for a year, um, it's kind of curious. But people, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say whatever I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say on that part.
Say it, don't spray it.
People have been disillusioned a lot of the time at what they thought was going to be good and what they were doing at the time they thought it was good, and then they come out of it with like bitterness. And I was going to go like with the I forgot what it was called, the people's, what was it, the people's temple, or whatever Jim Jones had going on, in his little cult. um that those people at first they thought it was good until some of them realized that they weren't a cult, and then it was like, I gotta get out of there. And I'm not saying that Kent Hovind's ministry is a cult or anything like that, but I can definitely see where people can look from the outside in. And
Have you ever heard of the Dole Banana Corporation cases?
no.
There were plantations, okay? And number one, and well, no, I don't want to go there. Anyway, there were plantations. People had to buy their money, use the money that they were given, right? It wasn't able to be spent elsewhere. You had to buy what you were getting from the corporation, right? Those cases made their way up to the Supreme Court. And that's why we have the major capitalist system that we have today. A lot of the results of the things that we have today are a result of those cases. What Kent Hovind has would closely resemble the model that those cases were tried against and found to be more or less unconstitutional. Here's the problem. You couldn't claim that against Kent Hovind because he's not trying to hold anybody there. So he's right in that gray area. I'm not saying what he does is morally correct, but it is legally proper.
Well, and not just that, but it's a little more different than even that, because Kent Hovind pays all your utilities and housing and even provides your food.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, he
that's
gives you
directly-
a stifle, like
Yeah.
like an allowance per se. But they don't have anything on
thing
the
that makes it
property for you
legal-
to spend the money there. So like they do take
Yeah, that
everybody
thing
to
that
go to
makes it legal
Walmart.
is that it's cash.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, that's what makes it legal. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to yes. There are so many parallels. Yes. And there's reasons for it. He's making so it's so close, but there's one thing that makes it legal. It's that he does it under a trust. So I mean, these people have a legitimate gripe. I cannot say that what Kent Hovind does is 100% ethically sound, because if you're going to put labor into anything, any man is worth his hire. Ergo, if you're following an agreement that's unilaterally agreed upon, or a strict baseline which everybody's getting paid, then you're subjugating someone to a slavery like condition. That's the bottom line. That's why we have different wages today. That's why the so quote unquote female wage gap will never be closed. Just the way it is.
Well,
Again, though, those are a little bit, that's still different from the constitutional cases, because like the coal mining companies used to do the same thing. I have coal miners in my family.
It's just that side illegal.
Right. Yeah. Like they would provide housing and you could rent it at a cheap rate, but you had to get their housing so that you lived on the property. Then they would have like a general store that the company owned, and the currency they would get paid is for company property, just like you said.
Right.
So they were being
Yep.
forced to
Same
spend their
thing.
wages and give it back to the company, whereas Kent really
Which
doesn't do that.
no, that's exactly what I'm saying. He's doing it just that side illegal. But I'm telling you this right now. If
Gotcha.
you were able to get him to write something on paper and pull it up before an ethics review board that has jurisdiction over that particular part of land, and every land is cordoned off to a jurisdiction represented in the United States Constitution annotated code for a representative in the United States Constitution, there is a jurisdiction that ties him to a treaty, thereby allowing for a motion or an action to be brought in court against him if you have a legitimate gripe. But that's the problem. There's one or two differences that's holding it up. Now these people have a legitimate gripe. I can't fault them for
Who's
that.
these people? Who's these people?
Uh, there has to be someone with a legitimate complaint. I don't know who it is, but I'm guaranteeing with the number of people that have been through there, there is one person with a legitimate complaint. Now, they don't have to make it outlandish. What screwed all the people in the past was all the bullshit stories. You have to have a legitimate complaint or a winning petition.
Well, I agree. I agree with you there. With all the drama that they've put forth, they kind of created a boy who cried wolf situation where they've made so
Well,
many
Ken
out.
Hovind is extremely smart.
They've made
He's a diabolical genius. I have to give him that.
he's very intelligent, that's for sure. But all these people that wanted to destroy him and everything have made so many outlandish claims that even if there is something wrong over there, something bad that was happening, and I've been over there. I stayed over there for 2 months. So I've had
Look,
I've had a fair share
what
of being over there. But
what matters is the affidavit, the complaint, and the summons. Those are the only three. The other hearsay. That's why we have the rule hearsay. If
yeah,
someone has a legitimate complaint,
they have. There's been so much. There's been so much hearsay where they've made it more difficult. They've made it actually more difficult to find an actual problem because they've completely piled on so much junk onto it where it's easy to lead to a boy who cry wolf situation. It's very easy to put themselves in that case. So it's very self-defeating, and I don't know. I think it's just an affront to God, really. Like I said in the beginning, I think it's just an affront to God whenever you try
well,
and attack somebody who's
now
who
you're being ridiculous. That's not an affront to God. That's the American way of life. Okay, come on, bro. The man's not doing anything wrong.
n-
I have to
who
I have to say,
who are you talking about?
Kent. Now his
I'm not.
establishment,
No, I'm not
you
saying
have to.
Kent's doing anything wrong. I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm lost.
Yeah, I'm saying the people, like people who are claiming that they're Christians and everything that have dedicated their channels and dedicated destroying Kent are doing something that I think is more of a insult to God because they're attacking a godly person, whether you agree with them or not. And if there
Give
is
us a
something
name,
bad
Lupin.
there, uh,
There's two sides to every
people
story,
people
and
like
Kent's
Mark.
every bit as there's two sides to every story, and Kent is every bit as much as a sinner as anybody else in this conversation. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
the man, there has to be a shadow of grace, right? That's where I would put the credit. It's not him, it's God. But I digress.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's just sowing discord among brethren is just the way that I see it. I just don't vibe with that too much. Um anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and dip out. You guys have a good one. I appreciate you letting me on and having some time to talk.
No problem, Lupin.
Later.
Yep, see you later, bud.
All right, Proverbs. I'll talk to you later, brother.
You know, you touched on something really interesting, Dustin. You said that, you know, you're sure out of everybody who was bringing complaints that somebody, and I think you're right, and
Somebody does.
I think that would have done more for their messaging than what you described. They started coming out with all these bizarre, outlandish accusations and trying to bring up ammo from years ago. It was really, it turned into a pitiful attempt. And if they had just stuck with their legitimate gripes, you know, it probably eventually would have got addressed. But they lost the
Yeah,
case of public opinion when they got crazy with their accusations.
that's for sure. Yeah, they didn't have a legitimate jury.
No, I mean, at one
I
point, dude, it
tried.
was like a witch hunt. I mean, they were literally talking about how they found like suitcases with human bones and how that was the boy, and
Yeah.
like the stuff got bizarre,
Yes.
dude.
Yes. Yes. I was laughing so hard. I was like, breaking news, Brian Stelter. Dude, I was slaying him with that clown show. It was funny. Oh.
Dude, I was just waiting for Chris Hansen to walk into the room with everybody, like on the live stream, and be like, everybody have a seat.
Right. Did you know that there was 13-year-old boys tied up and gagged in the basement?
What? Where?
Nothing. I was being facetious.
Oh, okay, yeah. Dude, it did get that bad though.
Yeah.
Like they started
Chris Hansen.
accusing Kent of running. On top of that, he was running a
Yeah.
prostitution ring, which is funny because I was there
Yeah.
with my family for 4 months, and there was not. I don't think there was a single lady there except for an older woman who calls herself Faithful to Jesus. Like she legally changed her name to Faithful to Jesus. I think she was the only single female on the whole property. Like I would like to know where all these prostitutes were hiding.
Uh,
ProverbsGuy.
Logan.
that's an open-ended question.
I heard that this that from Dwayne, that they said there were these hookers that came to Dinosaur Adventureland to ask where Chris Baker's at.
I don't care to comment on that. I have no comment.
Sorry.
I don't even. Yeah, I wouldn't have any information to add.
But I'm not sure. Yeah.
So, Dustin, you said you got pulled into all the drama. Like, how much of it? I know it's addicting, man. Like, I've sat there and lost whole days going through all the videos that everybody's posted. Like, how deep into the rabbit trail have you become invested in?
Bro, like I wasn't invested. I was just listening while I was at work. Like I have to distract myself with 3 different things at once, otherwise I'm bored and then I start doing stupid stuff. Right? Like while I was debating him, I was playing chess.
Talking about earlier today?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I keep my brain occupied. It's just one of those things. But more to the point, um when I was listening, I was like, how does anybody believe you people? Like, and then I started seeing the comments, and I was like, wait a somebody's got to put some, like, even just 2 drops of common sense in the middle of all this malfeasance. Please let me speak for just 2 seconds. Put a question that would grade a shadow of a doubt, because you people are so clearly full of crap. I am a specialist. Again, I will remind you, I am a specialist, and they were so full of crap. Just one question, please. And then I got my gift. I asked that lady straight to her face piece. I was like, how long do you watch this go on and not claim responsibility? You're sitting there watching these atrocities and you do nothing. You're complaining about it now, but you let it happen then.
Well, not just that, dude, but like even take the story about the boy, right? Everybody
That
has
that's what
everybody
I'm
has a
talking about.
witness of that story. That happened right before I got there. And everybody had a legitimate gripe about that, but not a single person brought it to light until after they left, right? So like they were that concerned about the boy, and then they watched the little boy
Zaire's not
leave
even
with who they
the
thought.
kid's name.
Well, yeah, but like
Zaire's
that's
not
like a
even that kid's
minute
legitimate
point.
name.
My problem is everybody like watched this boy there for supposedly 4 days. Then they watched the boy leave with Chris, and none of them were concerned enough to like flag authorities or anything until months and months after the fact. Like, come on, that makes you
That
just as
makes them an
guilty.
accomplice after. Yeah, that
Exactly.
makes them an accomplice. That's the point that I was trying to get at. It was like, look, you knew about this, and you did nothing. You did nothing. What?
Right.
Why are you complaining? You're setting yourself up for a guilty conviction. I mean, the judge must be looking at you cross-eyed.
I don't think they comprehend that, dude. I really don't. Like, they should be smart enough to comprehend it, but I don't think they do.
I was dumbfounded. I was like, I have just come across the dumbest group of people I have met in my entire life. Like I have that's the only way I could quantify it.
Yeah, well, luckily, dude, I was on that side of the fence for a long time, and thank God, by his mercy, a lot of the negative stuff I put up about Kent has been taken down, like various different ways, so God is good. And I've tried to put out a lot of material out there to kind of show Kent's point of view because, like, no one has given him that respect, you know? They painted him to be a villain, and then nobody
Yeah.
wanted to hear his point of view, so I was like, I'm gonna share his point of view.
Well, I don't go that far. I don't think I could share anybody else's point of view, but
Oh,
I understand what you're saying.
Steven, ProverbsGuy,
Logan?
Missing Mod's in the comments.
I know, I sent Missing Mod an invite. I really hope she comes on, because she's a defender of Kent Hovind also. I think that would be fun.
I
She
actually
should-
want one of the accusers to come on.
They are welcome to. I don't think any of them are going to, though. But yeah, this conversation is warming up, so if somebody from their side could come on, I think that would be great.
What about?
I mean, What's up, buddy?
Oh, that guy, Dan, he tried to come on, but he said he was blocked.
I don't know about that because even if he's blocked on YouTube, he should still be able to access the Zoom link because he wouldn't be blocked on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
That's correct. That's
So,
correct.
if he really wanted to come on, he could have come on. I don't think I've blocked anybody on Zoom itself.
Okay.
How many people are watching on YouTube?
It varies. Right now, it's down to like one. It was been like 50 views
That's too
total
bad.
throughout the day. Well, it happens that way. Like right now, people are getting me for church and all of that good stuff. But it's also streaming on Twitch. I have no idea how many people are viewing on Twitch, and it's going to my Facebook. And I just streamed it to Facebook, so that should pick up speed soon. Go ahead, Logan.
Dustin. Have you ever been to a mega church where they have restaurants there and
no
stores to buy stuff?
No.
Yeah, Pastor Chuck been to one too.
Who's Pastor Chuck?
He's the Orthodox priest.
Yeah, he's a patron saint of good ideas.
Have you seen any?
Saint of good ideas.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the Jesus Forum live streams I've done?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Well, yes, maybe, and no. I haven't. See, a lot of the times I'm listening. It's stuff that comes up while I'm at work. So, like, sometimes I'm listening. Sometimes there's a grinder going off in my ear. Like, I've got a lot to pay attention to at work. So,
gotcha.
Yes, I have participated in the background while it was playing. Give me a minute. I gotta switch earphones.
Go ahead.
Oh, Steven, would you
Logan?
love to debate Mark over preterism?
No, I would not. I have no real
Okay.
desire. I think it's a salvation issue, and I think there are like so many preterism that need tackling. Like that's near the bottom of my list of importance.
What would you like to debate about the most? Or tackle the most?
Me, I wouldn't mind debating actual astrology and the stretching of the universe.
Uh-huh. Do you
Okay,
believe the
like I'm
universe
pro
is...
for this.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe that the universe is stretching out, but
Oh.
only because of the biblical principle, not
Yeah.
necessarily because of a Big Bang. The explosion doesn't make sense to me, or the rapid expansion. How do you get order from a violent shove?
Mm.
Well, not just that, but
Same.
the whole premise of the Big Bang is a supernatural act. It can't just happen. It has to have some kind of supernatural igniter for it to explode and expand so rapidly. It just has to.
Oh, Steven, I hear some people try, I think from Lauren Krauts or Stephen Hawking, they said that it could have been the, even Aaron Ross said this, that it could have been a, multiverse.
No. Why? Why
Uh,
we have no way to verify it. It's an outlandish idea that they're replacing God with.
Yeah,
They're
they tried to say it was caused by a multiverse. What caused it? Some, I don't know.
how you couldn't quantify it. There's no. I mean, there's no experiment today. You're looking at like even with string theory and quantum entanglement or G theory for that matter. Um, just no multiverse universe. It would require more energy than it takes to exist, right? I mean, think about it. How no. That's not any model of mechanics or law principle we see in any kind of scientific experiment today.
Yeah. What do you think, Steven? Proverbs guy.
I would agree with that. I also hope Missing Maud comes on and chats with us for a bit. I think that would be fun. She always has really interesting stuff to add, and she does art. But I totally agree with Dustin. And
Yeah.
not just that, but the
All that money,
mathematical impossibility of the universe being random chance. Everything is set so perfectly into its own place and held there, it has to be divine intervention.
And I don't get what Adam's problem with the theory of relativity about, because the theory of relativity kind of been proven. They said here's a guy that was in a rocket, went around the Earth like about speed of light, came back down, he
so
buried age for a couple years.
that's a perspective issue.
And here's another
Two,
one.
two, two objects in motion, okay? And you're talking about space. So there is no defined direction. Even if the sun and the moon and the sun and the earth are moving relative to each other in a general vector, you still have no way of predicting, right?
We
So if you're looking at the two, three, four objects mathematically combined, even with a proper reference of 9 different points in space, the greatest distance of a light year, you wouldn't be able to find yourself again.
Yeah. Well, they also said here's satellites that need relativity to work, and
Yeah,
other thing where you had a clock, and one was in an airplane, one was on ground in different areas. Well,
gravity affects time. Yes,
yeah,
gravity affects time. When you're dealing with the boundaries of the speed of light, the closer you get to the speed of light, the more your mass becomes, thereby slowing time down,
yeah,
right? Because you're not
yeah,
allowed to go beyond the speed of light.
yeah. They say hers a ray around the speed of light. But even Aiden talked about where you're traveling without moving, where they hold
Yep.
on to space and time, push that, and it's time and space moving, not you.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's the theory. They can't prove that, though. How do you prove that? That's like saying we can detect gravitational waves. That
Yeah.
doesn't work. That is so stupid, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to prove with that experiment is that, um, yeah, it doesn't work. That's not how that works.
Yeah. That's what they said. There's, I think I remember seeing that stuff like on Futurama or Star Trek or something. Yeah, that what they say. What do you think, Stephen? ProverbsGuy.
That's very interesting. I'll tell you what, like,
What?
my biggest problem with evolution is even in the very origins of it. Like, none of it's practical. They can't explain what the variables were in the environment to make everything evolve differently when they had the same starting point. And they can't explain why all these creatures we evolved from are still here today.
They always say common ancestor.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like Brett King, he could be a common ancestor. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Oh, come on, man. Don't bash the guy while he's not here.
I'm just joking. Sorry about that. But Stephen.
Yes.
Yeah, they always say like common ancestor and stuff. But guys like PC Myers still think we're all fish.
So there's an argument to be made. Okay, look, how did we get here? We made it through the water. Even your mother's water broke,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
what happens when your mother's water broke? You go to the doctor to be delivered in the delivery room, right? Kind of like a ship at its berth in the bay at the dock with the delivery. See how the words are interchangeable?
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. If things are running in a parallel line, kind of like a freeway, right? Then at any point there's a break in the logic, you can trace it back to its original source.
That's an interesting perspective that I haven't thought about debating from. Got a lot of interesting points, man. It is a shame that you don't engage in debates more often, because I think you would give a lot for atheists to think about.
I'm more than willing. I'm more than willing. Because I'm ready, dude. I've heard their debate. I've seen their position. They copy. They don't even understand their argument from the start. Like, think about it. How doesn't okay? The way they tell the story about Brachiosaurus, or no, not Brachiosaurus. I forget. It was the creature that evolved into the whale. Okay, originally, the organism has to come from the sea, become a land animal. And then for some reason, does 180 degrees and runs back into the ocean. Why? Don't tell me that you have a flourishing population of animals on the land, but for some reason there was a pressure that forced animals back into the ocean where they probably drowned, giving birth to babies that neither walked nor swam properly.
Right.
They were mammals the whole time.
And keep in mind, it took millions of years for land creatures to develop gills, apparently. So, do you know how many offspring would drown before evolving a functioning lung that can work underwater?
So, but then there's the other perspective. Okay, I send you out as lamb amongst the wolves. What's another way of looking at it? If you're from a different time, you know, these words are interchangeable, right? So if you're looking at the perspective, and please don't slaughter me here, but listen to what I'm trying to say. If you're looking at the perspective of the ancient tale of the flat earth, what they were referring to was the perspective of the eye. The earth is flat because you only have one perspective that is flat, that ends at one point from your ear to the other point of your ear. What we perceive as third dimension is flat. We receive it as flat. It is a picture in front of our eyes, the veil that has been pulled in front of our face. That is what they were referring to, for the love of fuck of God.
So I think it's safe to say you do not subscribe to a flat Earth.
I don't believe the earth is literally, as a dimension and or perspective, flat. No, I believe our perspective of the earth is flat. And that was what they were referring to, not the earth itself.
I could understand that because I have a similar theory when it comes to, scripture defines us as being the center of the universe. But science says that we are not the center of the universe, and I would say, okay, even if that's accurate, we are the only planet that sustains any kind of life whatsoever, especially with the consciousness that the human being has. So even if we're not geologically located in the center of the universe still completely revolves around us because we're the only sustained life in the universe.
The reason that biblical perspective is written that way is because they only have one perspective, being the center. It's neither more nor less than that, right? It like an Artesian reification of an idea. You're trying to reify a shadow.
Okay, fair enough, man. Interesting perspectives. I'm kind of bummed you haven't come on here sooner.
Well, I'm surprised you would listen to that. I'm not attacking you. Not in the least. Matter of fact, I appreciate your perspective. It's refreshing. I'm attacking the idea. Right? And that's what debate is supposed to be about.
Right. I agree. I agree with you. Yeah, there's been a couple things like minor disagreeing areas, but for the most part, no, you're pretty on point, man, and I really enjoy your perspective like a lot. I'm glad you came on today.
I'm happy I got the chance to speak. I don't get to talk a lot.
Dude, in a debate, you would mop the floor with Logan. Like drag him across the wet, dirty floor.
Debate what?
What do you want to debate, Logan?
Yeah, what do you want to debate, Logan?
Is is ProverbsGuy? I don't know.
I can debate that right now. The answer is yes. Prove me wrong.
Well, you can't be an I don't know. You have an identity.
Is ProverbsGuy a leprechaun?
I go by he, him.
He's got a beard.
I know that.
So does God.
Right, yep.
I think you guys have something in common.
Yeah. I go by he, him. Those are my pronouns.
I thought your pronouns were teddy bear.
Those are the pronouns you put on me, but I would appreciate if you would respect my pronouns, sir.
Put away the bear.
He compared me to Winnie the Pooh earlier, bro. Like,
are you serious?
Like, he went savage. Yeah, Logan is savage, dude.
Oh, sorry.
Seriously, bro, you're gonna call him Pooh. Look, I'm gonna have to weigh in on this because I'm the expert. The man is not Winnie the Pooh.
Have you seen that new horror movie of Winnie the Pooh?
You mentioned that, Logan, but I still haven't seen it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I do really want to go see... I want to see Cocaine Bear so bad, but my girlfriend is like, that's a guy movie. I don't want to go see Cocaine Bear. And I'm like, no, we have to go see Cocaine Bear.
Well, I have a couple of suggestions, but you guys are Christians, so...
Aren't you also?
Huh?
Aren't you also
I
a
would just
Christian?
get her inebriated. Yes, definitely.
You would go
I
to
am a
the
Christian.
thing
When it comes to
abbreviated?
what?
I'll tell you something, man. The last time I struggled with drug addiction in my early 20s, and then the last time I did any kind of drug was like when President Trump was first running. So it was like late 2015. I went to a Trump rally on shrooms, and when they started chanting "Lock her up,"
Oh yes.
dude, you could feel it. You could feel the stadium saying "Lock her up."
Yep.
Somebody-
Yep. Dude, you can't fluctuate that many people on a single idea and not move energy in the substrate.
Is that why you
Right.
don't television?
Well, that
What
was the
vision?
last time I did any kind of drugs, and that was like 8 years ago. So, if I did get a vision then, I doubt I would even remember it, Logan.
Oh, they have to tell Wesley. That's why.
I remember acid. My sister like morphed into a duck with a carrot for a neck, a body of a potato, and some like chopstick legs. It was crazy.
That is
Did
a
you try to
really
eat her?
bad trip, dude.
No, that's the thing. I was laughing my balls off. Like it was great because I didn't like my sister much.
Oh,
Yeah, I have 4 sisters, and I only talk to one of them.
I
I
don't
only have
talk to
one
my
sister.
sister. She will not listen to a thing I say, and it's not nope. There's bad blood there.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You gotta see.
Oh.
My sister, she. How do I put this delicately? Because I'm not gonna say anything bad about her, but I'm gonna be honest.
She sounds like my sisters.
She has a way of being the king of Misrule. There we go. She turns all the rules upside down, and she bends everything. She has a way of, and I taught her how to do it. It's my fault. I know how to manipulate people because I used to read books like 21 Ways to Yes and interrogation techniques, and it was just because my dad was special forces. Like he put me down with these books, and I didn't have a choice. It was read.
Okay.
It's all like ingrained into the back of my headpiece.
So you can't be mad at your sister because she's a product of what you taught her, is what you're saying.
I'm saying I gave her the ability to defend herself.
Oh,
And in so doing, I turned her into a really time-worthy opponent.
Yeah, you
Skylar's
created
here.
a monster. Skylar, welcome back. What happened to you, man?
Although, if my dad had stayed alive, I'm not saying that wouldn't have happened naturally. Why am I being asked to admit you?
I had made you
Oh,
a
right.
co-host earlier.
I
Oh,
met it.
copy that.
Hi, Skylar.
Hello.
Yeah. How are you?
Tired.
Oh,
Why are you so
follow
tired?
guy.
Oh, I had a fiasco earlier I had to fix and clean up. It was all right.
What
Oh.
happened?
I like
Sorry.
this guy.
Oh, what?
What happened?
What happened? What do you mean?
Said you had a fiasco. Like,
Fiasco.
did you set another field
Oh,
on fire?
no, fortunately. No,
You beat up
fortunately.
Mohammed?
How many miles of land did you burn to a ground again, Skylar?
Acres upon acres. I'll see if I can pull up a picture real quick. I've got a picture. I just don't know
It's still like
where.
blackened earth. It looks like when Sherman went through Atlanta.
Yeah, I'll see if I can pull up
Sometimes
a
that's
picture.
good for the dirt.
Yeah,
You can
He-
reactivate nutrients in the soil, in the deep soil.
he got certified as a fireman, and then no lie, like an hour later, tops, he sets like
Yeah,
40 acres on fire.
dude,
Almost
30
burns
minutes.
down Missouri.
So check this out. I'll tell you the story real quick. The short version of the story while I'm searching for this photo here. And so, anyways, what happened was we're an excavation company, right? We got bulldozers and track loaders and excavators and big stuff for land clearing and whatnot. So, well, anyways, the the wind advisory for this day. The wind advisory, it was a no burn advisory. That's what I mean. No burn advisory, and the wind was gusts of 48 miles an hour. But it was 28-mile-an-hour winds with gusts up to 48 miles an hour, or 50 miles an hour. And I was like, man, we better not light this fire today because we're lighting like 17 trees, on fire. And real fire. So, and the neighbor's field, which was hundreds of acres, the neighbor's field was dead sagegrass, not just sagegrass, but dead sagegrass, because this is coming out of wintertime or was wintertime, one of the two. So either way, what he says is, no, we're going to light the fire today. So on the way to the property, which is actually his now ex-wife's property, but anyways, well, on the way to the property, which is his ex-wife's property, we stop at the gas station, which is not even a gas station. They don't sell gas no more. It's just old folks hangout. This is country town in Missouri, rural town, and 900 people, And so the corner store that goes right through Main Street, right through the highway, and the corner store is the old folks hangout. It really is. We show up and there's 7 old guys just shooting the shit, telling catfish stories and whatnot. And this happens to also be the place where you sign up for the volunteer fire department to become members of the volunteer fire department.
Big
And
mistake. Huge.
yeah, we sure did. So we become members of the volunteer fire department, shoot the shit with them for 15 minutes, go and light this fire, and immediately catch the neighbor's field on fire. I mean, I'm talking 30 minutes, dude. Within 30 minutes of leaving that place, within 30 minutes of leaving that gas station, we caught the neighbor's field on fire. And it was hundreds of acres of dead sagegrass. So it just went and spread. I mean, like crazy, super quick, burned it up super fast. We had to bulldoze what's called a fire break. We had to bulldoze that guy's trees. Once it caught to the trees, we had to bulldoze trees for what's called a fire break so they couldn't catch the next layer of trees on fire. It was bad. It was instantaneous too. I am telling you, that son of a gun caught real quick.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for the wildest story in Missouri history.
It made front page newspaper and everything of the Gazette or whatever. I don't know.
Have you talked to Aiden today?
My fiasco started whenever he came, actually. I think it was his fault.
Yeah, it was crazy earlier. He was on here with Lupin and that other guys. It was crazy. Eh?
It did turn up pretty hardcore, didn't it, Logan?
That's because you're hardcore.
Oh, yeah. So I got pictures. Here we go. Boom. All right. Yeah, so we caught that dude on fire real fast, and it was hundreds of acres of this stupid dead sage.